In Pro G2 World Life here with Riptidz and the Angry Commentator. Holy crap.
Yeah, my presence alone is gonna make this video much better, ain't it?
No, my presence makes his videos better.
Yeah, he's the one with the porn stars.
No.
I have a fabulous stash, thank you very much.
No. If anything, me and freaking Angry Commentator go, yeah, that's what's gonna make the views. Riptidz, you drag down the views.
Fuck off. No, my presence makes your content better. You by yourself, you are nothing. You are insignificant, little ant.
Oh, really? Then explain why my most popular video is one with me and me and Frank in it.
Because it's not just you. If it was just you, you literally get no views.
Yeah.
He would, just not as much.
Okay, you guys are both assholes. Thanks for establishing that early on, but
hey, I said it's a new year, but same old asshole.
And I guess you could say when it comes to burning each other, you could call that a rivalry. Speaking of rivalries, today we are doing a tier list of iconic WWE rivalries. We have 50 of them here. We were going to do 30, but we added 20 more, just because.
Well, technically we were going to do 25, and then we just kept adding.
And just turned into 50.
And adding.
So, the categories I have here, as you can see, is Hall of Fame, Great, Good, and Trash. Despite rivalries being somewhat good or great in some Hall of Fame status, there were some we're discussing that's probably trash tier. But and I have these in no particular order here. So the first rivalry we're going to talk about is Undertaker versus AJ Styles from 2020. That ended with that Boneyard match, the cinematic match, which was Taker's final match. Now, we all know, now, John, you and I know how this rivalry got started, with Styles calling out Taker, getting into his personal life. They were supposed to do a one-on-one match, but that got scrapped for a cinematic match due to the world changing, as we know.
Yeah.
And of course, Taker did cost AJ Styles that freaking 2-8 trophy or whatever in that Super Showdown Saudi Arabia event in 2020, I believe. Which then, because of the world changes, have this Boneyard match, and Taker unleashing the Unholy Trilogy, or a mixture of all of his characters into one, in that great cinematic match that people still hold in high regard. Okay, your thoughts on that rivalry as a whole?
Well, also, if you watch his podcast on YouTube, his wife, Michelle, was like, yeah, how did my name get fucking brought into this?
And yeah, I seen that podcast recently.
Undertaker's like, uh-oh.
But yeah, where would you rank this one amongst the tiers here? Like, it wasn't a long-term rivalry, it was a WrestleMania season rivalry, but it had the best cinematic match payoff to it.
I'd say great.
And it was Taker's final match.
It's borderline Hall of Fame, but I'd say great.
I don't know. I don't know if you've seen the match, Frank, but if you did, what would your thoughts be on it?
Was it that Boneyard match?
Yes, it was a Boneyard match, the cinematic match.
Wait, was that before Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, that was after.
It was after.
That was the WrestleMania where we had the illness. Or the lockdown, we should say.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. New WWE, I don't watch, so I can't say anything about that match.
You really need to watch that Boneyard match, though. From that time period. You need to watch that. Though.
Like I said, it's borderline Hall of Fame. I'd just say great because it was a mini rivalry, but not a full-blown rivalry.
So I would probably agree. I would say it's at great level. Not exactly Hall of Fame level, but it's good. It's great enough to be considered a great rivalry. The
Like I
match
said, it's
alone is
borderline.
legendary, right?
It's borderline because if they would have done a little bit more for that to be a rivalry,
Yeah.
it would have been better.
Oh God. Okay, now we go on to the next rivalry we're going to be talking about,
Holla, if you hear me.
and it's Riptide's personal favorite, Scott Steiner versus Triple H. You know you
got
love
Reign of
this.
Terror
You know,
versus Dropfoot.
you know you loved this rivalry, especially their two matches at the 03 Rumble and No Way Out 2003.
And seeing Steiner fall down randomly. Like Steiner, he's trying to be Ric Flair, falling down randomly.
And let's not forget all the pose downs and the contests and the freaking push-up contests and all that stuff, too, leading into the Rumble
God.
match.
Cringe.
The only thing is, I like Steiner math.
You see, Steiner is smarter than Triple H. He can actually do math.
But their matches were terrible. Those two did not have any chemistry in the ring. In Scott Steiner's
Steiner
defense, he had drop foot syndrome at that point,
Yeah, but he also had the power of Steiner math on his side, too.
which didn't
Can't
help
forget
him.
that.
Which didn't help him in the long run with this rivalry.
I'd say good.
I would say trash, to be honest, because their matches were shit.
I wasn't able to watch the whole. I wasn't able to watch it because I can't watch WWE because they moved all the Raws over to Netflix and they don't have all the old stuff on there yet.
They have all the old pay-per-views on Netflix right now.
So if
Yeah,
you want
well,
to just
I
go
don't
back
get to
and watch
watch
their
it.
matches, you can, but
Because just one pay-per-view match.
two
I
pay-per-view
don't care.
matches.
Or two. I don't care to watch it because I'll be missing context because I can't watch any of the old Raws.
Yeah, they go back in the story mode. Honestly, I would say this is trash because those two matches were shit and the build-up was cringe. Of course, if there was one positive that came out of the Triple H and Steiner feud, it was the formation of Evolution 100%, with Batista and Randy Orton being added to the group. So I guess there's that, but other than that, it was a trash rivalry. I didn't really like it. Your thoughts on it?
I
It
can't
was
comment.
pretty good.
So what are we going with? Do we want to go trash or do we want to go good? Their matches were shit, but only one positive thing came from it. What's your thoughts? I would say I can't just base the outcome of this rivalry on a fucking faction. Their matches were shitty. I'm sorry, I can't do it. Right?
Biased.
What?
Biased.
Yeah, who you calling biased?
You.
When we were doing the reviews, you were the one bitching about those matches repeatedly. Fine, I'll compromise. I'll put on a good, only because of Evolution, but other than that, it was garbage.
They had some good. It was good, but the way that they had them was shit.
I'm surprised he even said good because their matches were terrible. Right?
They weren't terrible. They were good. It's just the way that they had them against each other was just garbage.
Okay, now here's a rivalry I think freaking Frank can talk about, and we're going old school with this. We're going to a rivalry that not a whole lot of younger people remember or even know about today, and that's the rivalry between The Rock and Ken Shamrock from 1998.
Yeah, that one was not necessarily a short-lived one, but it wasn't a long one neither.
I mean, I know they had
It was a decent rivalry.
I know they first crossed paths at the 97 Survivor Series with their elimination match, and then they had multiple Intercontinental Championship matches at the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania 14. Not to mention they were the finals of the King of the Ring 98 tournament, and they fought each other during the Deadly Games tournament at Survivor Series in 98 as well. So they actually had a great rivalry going.
Yeah.
With with, I think, The Rock coming out the ultimate winner, but their earlier matches, Shamrock snapping and pretty much causing himself a victory over the match to prolong the rivalry, I thought was played to perfection.
Yeah, because he would snap and just keep the ankle lock on too long, forcing the ref to ring the bell.
Yeah, see the WrestleMania 14 match for that reference. And of course, the Rumble encounter when it looked like Shamrock got a clean win, The Rock used brass knucks and stuffed him down Shamrock's tights. Saying, Shamrock hit me with the brass knuckles. And got a clever DQ win that way. Heelish tactic, but still happened. Right?
Wouldn't be the first time Rocky Maivia did something like that.
So, where would you classify The Rock and Ken Shamrock's forgotten feud?
Good. That's where I'd put it. At the very least and at most is good.
Okay.
Above the Steiner versus Triple H one. Much higher
So
than
you
that.
put it under good. Where would you put it? Where would you put it?
Say good, yeah.
Okay, I would put it good. I would put it good above the freaking Triple H and Steiner one. In my opinion, the Triple H Steiner one still belongs in trash, but whatever. Then we got a match. We got a rivalry that only lasted about a month, but it was a good match. And with a freaking great promo, and that's Eddie Guerrero versus Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, great speech.
From 2004.
I'm an addict. That one.
You see that freaking promo from Eddie Guerrero? Yeah, you'll be shedding tears, okay? He even almost got Brock to break looking at that promo back. And the match was actually excellent, with Guerrero winning the match.
Well, yeah, because he said, I'm an addiction.
Yeah, so yeah, it was a mini rivalry, but one nonetheless that's still talked about when it comes to Eddie Guerrero's match highlights and promo highlights. Your thoughts on this one?
I'd say great.
Frank, what are your
They
thoughts?
may have only had a couple of matches, but their rivalry was very skillful.
Frank, your thoughts on that as a whole?
I haven't seen the matches in a long time, but I've heard the speech. At the most, I put it in great, but at least I put it in good.
Okay.
Personally, the speech elevates it. The match is also great. I'd put it in great.
Okay. I would put it in great behind the Styles Taker match. Mostly because the Styles Taker match had more of a story.
Put the freaking Triple H shit in trash, because you're going to fucking go back to it and say, oh, it's going to be trash. You can put it in trash.
Fine. Fuck off.
I already fucking know you.
You're just mad. Man, you're mad because I'm calling Triple H and Steiner trash. What year are we living in? What year are we living in? Because I remember when we were reviewing that, you were like, garbage, sucky, shitty. And now you're like, it was good. What the? The only thing that would have been more freaking shocking if you were like, Hall of Fame, I'd be like, oh, hell froze over. He's not himself. He needs a Snickers. Because you're not you when you're hungry. Okay, I know Frank can't relate to this, but me and freaking Riptidz can, and that's talking about the rivalry between Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley next. Now, these two clashed all the way back in 2020 and had a brief revisit of the program in 2022, and then as recently as 2023.
Well, they clashed in 2019 when she went and got the NXT Women's title, and then they clashed again in 2020.
Well, 2020, I believe, when Charlotte won the NXT Women's title, when she won the Rumble. That and when Rhea Ripley won the Women's Championship about a year later, that's when Charlotte and Rhea Ripley clashed again, with Charlotte getting the win again. And then 2023 came along, Rhea Ripley won the Rumble and finally beat Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania to win that women's title. In a great, excellent match, by the way, that put Rhea Ripley on the map as a top star. Not that she wasn't already a top star, it just made her become a bigger star in today's wrestling. You know what I mean? So, and that's just a brief of it, but where would you put this? I would say great. Honestly,
Yeah.
or good. At the very least. What would you think?
I would say great.
We're in agreement. I'm putting this probably better than Taker and Styles, only slightly because of the longer story they told with their matches over the years, right?
Yeah.
Now we're going way back to before any of our time period, and I'm talking about that classic rivalry between Hogan and Andre. That led into that WrestleMania 3 body slam moment.
Yeah, where Andre told Hogan to slam him because he couldn't, because his back went out.
Yeah, and the story into this, pretty much Andre turned on Hogan, siding with Bobby Heenan, challenging Hogan to WrestleMania 3 in a moment of betrayal, like a friend stabbing you in the back. Then we had the body slam heard around the world, and then the rivalry continued in 1984, or 1988, I should say, when Andre cost Hogan the championship, with Earl Hebner coming in, replacing his brother Dave Hebner, the original Screwjob that Earl Hebner was involved in. And they tried to be, and then they tried to be like, Dave Hebner got a freaking goddamn clone. Yeah, because I guess twins were non-existent back then. Yeah, right?
Yes.
And of course, they would clash at WrestleMania 4 in that tournament match, which both of them got DQ'd in, and they didn't really have too many interactions after that I know of personally. They may have or may not have, I don't remember, from old tapes I watched of it.
I'd say Hall of Fame because, yeah, it had a story, and the WrestleMania 3 thing was that Andre the Giant was going to go, was having health issues.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was going to go into back surgery eventually, but he had to go right then because his back went out. And he told Hogan to body slam him.
Yeah. And that body slam replay is always shown every year during WrestleMania season, so fuck it. Right. Okay, now we go to one of the most iconic rivalries that all of us could probably discuss, and that's Stone Cold versus Mr. McMahon.
First image that came to my head was Austin riding a Zamboni to the ring.
Yes. I mean, McMahon.
Austin riding his friggin' ATV to run him over.
Austin driving a cement truck and filling Vince's Corvette with it.
Yes.
Austin attacking Vince in the hospital and smacking him in the head with a bedpan. And then let's
I fucking love that. He's all like, he was dressed up as a doctor, and he's like, nurse, I think the patient needs. And she's like, what, doctor? And he's like, oh no.
I'll take it from here, nurse.
Yeah, and then. Yeah, and then freaking, and then they had their match at, not only for that, Mr. McMahon won the 1999 Royal Rumble by last eliminating Austin. Austin got the title match. Yeah. They had their cage match at St. Valentine's Day Massacre, which Austin destroyed Vince.
McMahon ran around the whole fucking building.
Yeah, and then Austin destroyed Vince in that cage, which saw the debut of the Big Show.
And then you also had the time where Austin had the toy gun and caused Vince to piss himself.
When he shot it, it said "Bang 316."
Yeah, this goes without saying, and they kind of killed off this rivalry when those two joined forces. But after all that, all the way in 2022, WrestleMania 38, Austin gave one last stunner to Vince, and the worst-looking stunner ever. Okay, we talked about this long enough. Next.
Hall of Fame.
Obviously.
Also, the Battle of the Billionaires. When Stone Cold was the referee, and then he stunned McMahon into the freaking barber chair.
Yep. Yeah, and I love that segment, too, when Vince was, like, running away from Lashley. And all of a sudden, Austin just stands behind him. He just pats freaking Austin's head from behind him. And Jim Ross like, yep, Vince, you got to get used to that feeling right there. Right? Yeah.
That was what gave us do-rag Vince.
Yep. So next, we have a classic rivalry that spans not only WWE, but also WCW. And I'm talking about Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero. Next.
Now, you're talking to a freaking big-ass wrestler. I've seen both of their rivalries in WCW and freaking WWE. And those two, even though that they treated each other like brothers, they treated each other like family, they both hated each other.
In the ring, professionally. They both brought it to each other.
Yes.
I mean...
They didn't get one fucking ounce against each other.
Yeah.
Those fuckers, I right now, Hall of Fame, because that their match, even when they did the freaking ladder match for custody of the trash can.
Yeah, I mean their 1997 Halloween Havoc encounter, a banger classic. But you know, and so is the rest of the rivalry in WCW. But what's more iconic was their 2005 feud, where Eddie turned heel, gave the freaking one of the most greatest heel speeches of all time, which is still talked about. And then, of course, it was during that rivalry in 2005 we found out that Eddie Guerrero was Dominic's, or the Trash Can's real father. Right?
Yes.
Which they still play on today. I can't grade it anything less than a Hall of Fame. Your thoughts on this one, Frank?
What?
Guerrero and Mysterio's feud.
I never got to watch the full thing. Never did.
I'm pretty sure you heard of it though.
Oh, I heard of it. I heard the stories.
It's like I grew up watching that shit.
I can't say anything fully on that.
Yeah, I'll put it behind Vince and Austin in Hall of Fame. Okay, we're going into the pipe bomb promo for this one. CM Punk versus John Cena. Covering their 2011 feud and their more recent 2025 feud. Revisited. So, back in 2011, CM Punk and John Cena got into a rivalry when Punk won the #1 contendership. Then we had the pipe bomb promo. Hey, John, you remember the pipe bomb promo? Because I do.
Yes.
Which kind of broke which kind of broke the line between entertainment and reality. Which got a lot of people back into WWE at this point. Right? From what I heard. And they had a 5-star classic match at Money in the Bank, 2011, which CM Punk won. And then
he walked out of the company as champion, and then a few months later he walked back in, and they had that banger of a match for the unified WWE Championship.
At SummerSlam in 2011, and then they would revisit the feud again briefly for an episode of Raw in 2013, which they had a classic match on Raw, which Cena won using the pile driver, which was a bad maneuver at that point. During the match.
They also renewed it when he created the new Nexus.
Yeah, that too. And then we had their one-off freaking rivalry in 2025 as part of John Cena's retirement tour, which they had a great match last year in Saudi Arabia. I forgot what pay-per-view that was. We've seen so many of them, I forget the names. Well, what pay-per-view did that happen on last year?
That wasn't. It was Saudi Arabia, I think.
Yeah, it was one of the Saudi Arabia pay-per-views from last year. I forget the name of it, even though we reviewed it.
Because it was when Rollins tried to cash in the title. He was trying to stop Punk from winning, and then also the other referee got floored.
It was Night of Champions last year from Saudi Arabia when that happened. Okay, knowing the history between these two, where would you rank this rivalry?
I'd say either great or Hall of Fame. Anything lower than that is blasphemy.
Yes. The Bible and promo alone is most talked about. I'll just put it above Mysterio and Guerrero in Hall of Fame. Yes, I know I'm doing a lot of Hall of Fame, but these freaking rivalries are iconic like that. It's the ones that people think of first when thinking of these superstars. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay, now we're going back to something that Frank would probably relate to and watching old call content we know about. This one, the Battle of the Goats, the rivalry of the Goats, Steve Austin and The Rock. I'm sorry, but
Yeah, you had Rocky Maivia with the Chia Pet, and then you had the Ringmaster. That was their debut names.
I mean, Steve Austin versus The Rock rivalry is iconic, just like Batman versus Joker, Scorpion versus Sub-Zero, and other great rivalries. Without one, the other one doesn't exist.
Funny you talk about Sub-Zero in wrestling. Does that make you think of anybody who shows up late?
I don't know. I'm drawing a blank there. I'll come back to it later.
Yeah, Glacier.
But anyway.
Has he arrived? No.
Well, we got to review Glacier coming back in 2000.
He didn't even show up the first time on our channel. But anyway, we got... For this rivalry, the rivalry first started in 97, back when they were in their rookie years. Rookie year here, basically, on the rise to the top. For the Intercontinental Championship, then you had Austin win the Royal Rumble in 98 by last eliminating The Rock, who lasted in that Rumble for like 40 plus minutes, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And of course, then they fought each other twice for the W Championship at WrestleMania's 15 and 17. 17 being the Austin heel turn, and then they fought again at WrestleMania 19, which would be Austin's last match for 19 years. With Austin winning most of those encounters, except for the final one. Your thoughts on this one?
Well, Austin faced The Rock because he thought he also ran him over.
We did it for The Rock. What? Yeah, and then, not to forget, they had their Backlash 1999 encounter as well.
Wasn't that the year when Austin threw the Rock's belt over the bridge?
Yes, it was 97 that Austin threw the Rock's belt over the bridge, but then when they had the rivalry in 99, The Rock did the same thing with the Smoking Skull belt.
In the same fucking river, too.
Yeah, in the revisit, only for it to be a ruse that The Rock still had that title in his possession.
And what river was it?
I don't remember.
And what city was it in?
Shit, I don't remember what city they were in.
I hope it wasn't New York, because that would have been the Hudson River, and the Hudson River is notoriously dirty.
Yes.
But anyway,
Frank got it right.
I know this seems to be a cliche, but I think The Rock
versus... the Long Island Sound.
Yes. This may seem like a cliche, but I think The Rock and Austin rivalry goes in the Hall of Fame.
I agree.
What do you say, John?
Of course it goes in the Hall of Fame.
Yep. Above the McMahon and Austin one, but it can be interchanged at any time. Now we go on to a rivalry that we grew up with, John, in the mid-2000s. I'm talking about John Cena versus Edge here. With the first ever Money in the Bank cash-in, and then their Royal Rumble clash, and then their SummerSlam clash, and then their TLC match. And then afterward...
you mean the fucking New Year's resolution 2006 first cash-in for the Money in the Bank after he went through a grueling Hell in a Cell, an Elimination Chamber match, my mistake. And it fucking lasted fucking hour and something, going in from number one, winning that, and then he gets freaking speared twice,
Yep.
Loses the title. Then he gets the title back at the Royal Rumble because Edge was being cocky and saying that he wouldn't be a transitional champion.
Yes. Yeah, and then freaking they had their... Yeah, and then Edge won the title back in a triple threat match from Cena and RVD on Raw. And then Edge retained the title via cheating, using brass knuckles back of the head of Cena at SummerSlam of 06.
And then they had his final match against him, where he put up his Raw contract to go to SmackDown.
Yeah, in that TLC match at Unforgiven 06. But of course, then they would renew their rivalry 3 years later in 09 on the SmackDown brand, when Edge won the World Heavyweight title in an Elimination Chamber match that he wasn't even supposed to be in. And then from there, they face each other in a triple threat involving Big Show at WrestleMania 25. And then their last match to date was that last man standing match at Backlash 09, which Edge won thanks to Big Show interfering. So now that we covered all of that, your thoughts on this one? Where do you think this rivalry between Edge and Cena goes?
Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Me personally, it's a great rivalry. I don't know if it's Hall of Fame, but it's really close to it, though. Right. But I would say ass in of Hall of Fame. What about you, Frank, if you know anything about this?
What, the Edge
and
versus
John Cena feud.
Honestly, I can't remember a single thing about it.
Man, you gotta
it's been that long.
Yeah, you gotta go and do research on it when you can.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to do that when not all the episodes of these old Raws are on Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix owned Raw for over a year at this point. I'm still surprised they haven't gotten all the old episodes up yet.
Well, whatever Netflix is doing, they need to do something, man.
Yeah.
Because it's really annoying not being able to watch the old Raws. Because I was in the invasion angle, and now I can't watch it.
Yep.
Damn you, Netflix.
No, if Raw...
Damn you, WWE. It wasn't broken. Why'd you fix it? It wasn't.
No, if Raw was still on Peacock, that wouldn't be an issue for you.
No, it wouldn't. It worked just fine, but they had to go and move to Netflix. God damn it.
It ain't my fault.
No, it ain't.
But now we're talking about a feud that...
moved over there.
Now we're talking about a feud that all I really need to know about is watching the matches on pay-per-view, because they had some great pay-per-view matches, and I'm talking about the... Well, I guess you can say controversial feud because of who was in it, but I'm talking about the battles between Angle and Benoit. Those were 5-star classic fights, or matches, because both were each other's equal back in the day. Right?
I remember seeing one of the matches where Benoit just kept getting the better of Angle. He just kept getting more and more pissed off.
Yeah. I mean, they had their first encounter against each other at WrestleMania 17, and then Backlash and Judgment Day 01 followed suit with a Ultimate Submission match, and I believe a 2 out of 3 falls match. And then they kind of went quiet after Benoit's return in 2002 from neck injury. They had a match at Unforgiven, which was a great one, but their most well-known match against each other is at the 2003 Rumble for the WWE Championship, which that's a 5-star classic that Angle won by submission. And just the back and forth between these two made you believe that one wasn't better than the other. Even if one of them lost, you knew they didn't go down easy. Right? So, your thoughts, where would this 5-star rivalry go? Your opinion, John.
I'd say great to Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and what would you say, Frank? Where would you put the Angle and Benoit rivalry?
I haven't seen any matches, fully, so I can't comment.
I would say, at the top of great. I mean, don't get me wrong, their matches are good, but, you know, I just wish we had more of them, but, you know, it is what it is, right?
Well, also their rivalry in the best out of 5, where they were saying that Angle was just a carbon copy of Benoit.
Well, they were each other's equals. That's the way I look at it when it came to their wrestling style. So, anyway, next one, we have one that John and I can relate to. I don't know about you, Frank, but I'm talking about the rivalry between The Undertaker and John Cena.
Oh, I thought that was B squared in the picture.
Now, that's John Cena in the picture when he was a rookie.
Oh. Oh, so he's B squared. Okay. He's B squared.
Yeah.
B squared.
God damn it. Anyway.
I thought he was B squared. The pictures are so small, I thought it was B square.
Undertaker would eat Bull Buchanan for breakfast. Anyway.
He ate Bull Buchanan for breakfast. He destroyed him in the right to censor.
Yeah. Anyway, all I know is that the Big Evil Taker and John Cena's paths first crossed in April of 2003 during a WWE Championship SmackDown tournament match, which, thanks to interference, John Cena won that match. And then, a couple months later, John Cena was boasting, saying he was the only veteran of the SmackDown locker room, which then Taker challenged him to a match at the 2003 Vengeance, which, that was actually a good match. All things considered, Taker won that one. And then their paths really wouldn't cross again until 2007, when both of them were involved in a tag match against each other.
Well, technically, their paths crossed when Cena debuted in 2002 when he slapped the shit out of Angle.
Well, that was a backstage segment. When I say paths cross, I mean like in a match. Right?
You know, I'm just saying they first met in 2002 after he slapped the shit out of Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cena still lost that, but Undertaker gave him props, and then John Cena was riding high after he got his first championship.
And let me correct myself. If I just remember this. In 2004, after their 2003 Vengeance match, they did fight each other on SmackDown in a non-title match when Cena was U.S. champion, which Taker won again. But then their rivalry was put on hold until it came back briefly in 2007. Because they were involved against each other in a tag team match, the WrestleMania 23 main event, Raw main event versus the SmackDown main event from that show, from WrestleMania 23, which Cena and Michaels won, over Taker and Batista.
Yeah.
But then their most disappointing, in my opinion, their most disappointing encounter happened at WrestleMania 34 in 2018. When Cena tried to get Taker to fight him at WrestleMania, got no answer, and then the day of the show, the match finally happened, and it was a 2-minute squash, with Taker winning. That match even disappointed Taker. He was getting ready for a 30-minute battle, not a 2-minute squash. From what he said in the Last Ride documentary.
Yes.
So, if you ask me, their best matches from the past was at the 2003 Vengeance pay-per-view. If you ask me, but other than that, it kind of borderline from great to good. Your thoughts on that one?
I say great to Hall of Fame because they actually had a lot of chemistry with each other for that shit. And then, especially when Taker turned heel and he faced Cena yet again. Because Cena was becoming a tweener at this point, where he was still turning into a face from a heel to face.
Yeah. Anyway, they didn't have too many matches, and their last match at WrestleMania 34 could have been way better than it was if it was given the time.
Yes.
Which, to me, if that was the case, would have been in Hall of Fame tier, but since we're talking about this, I'm going to be putting it, like, behind Benoit and Angle on the great tier. I mean, it's still a great rivalry, no doubt. It's just the matches could have been better. As in, or the rivalry could have lasted longer, and the WrestleMania 34 match could have been better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then we go to the mid 2000s again, when we have to talk about Triple H versus Batista. Now this rivalry put an end to the Reign of Terror, as we know.
Thumbs down.
Yep.
I
And
say that because that's the side of the contract. Thumbs down.
thumbs down.
It started when Batista won the
2005
Rumble, and they tried to manipulate him into going to SmackDown to win the heavyweight title because
Yeah.
Triple H was scared of facing Batista.
Yeah. And then
And Batista heard this, and then through the months, he kept hearing them say, "Oh, I'm better than Batista. Batista's not on my level, blah, 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 blah."
yeah.
And then right when it was for the contract sign between SmackDown and Raw, he picks up the Raw contract, throws it down.
SmackDown contract, throws it down, gives a thumbs down, and signs to stay with Raw to face off against Triple H.
Yes.
Thus ending his association with Evolution. And he would go on to beat Triple H not only at WrestleMania 21, but also he beat Triple H at Backlash and at Vengeance 05 in a Hell in a Cell match. Thus
As you said,
officially putting the end to the Reign of Terror, and Triple H never got a World Heavyweight title reign after that.
Well, he also beat him in the rematch.
Yeah, being a rematch at Backlash and again in Hell in a Cell. And of course, they would renew the rivalry years later in 2019, when Batista and Triple H fought each other at WrestleMania 35 after Batista supposedly attacked Ric Flair in the back during Ric Flair's birthday celebration that year.
Yeah, it was the Batista's final match.
Yeah, and it was Batista's final match, which Triple H won because Batista wanted to give the favor back to Triple H from making him a star to begin with.
Also when they had that Batista versus Brian and Randy versus him.
Yeah. So, where would I put this Hall of Fame? I would either put it under Great, maybe, or Hall of Fame. Probably Great at the most, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
So, we'll put this one probably above the Benoit and Angle under Great. Now, here's one, the next rivalry we're going to be talking about, which didn't end with controversy whatsoever. And yes, I'm talking about Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart here. Of course, their paths first crossed against each other in 1992 at the 1992 Survivor Series, when those two fought for the WWE Championship in a forgotten match, which Bret Hart won by submission.
one man got screwed while the other one lost his smile.
Yeah, and then 4 years later, Shawn Michaels won the Royal Rumble match, challenged, and went on to challenge Bret Hart for the WWE Championship in that Iron Man match, which Michaels won due to overtime when the match ended with a score of 0 after 60 minutes. And then they tried to get a proper rematch, but Michaels supposedly refused to work with Bret Hart, kept making up excuses about how he didn't want to fight Bret Hart. And those two got into a heated scrap backstage, which involved freaking Bret Hart literally pulling Michaels' hair out. That's been documented, right?
Yeah, that's when Michaels had Diesel as his bodyguard.
Yeah, Michaels threatened to quit the company and wanted to go to WCW after the whole backstage scrap, which Vince did not allow him to leave the company. And then eventually Michaels won the first ever Hell in a Cell match to challenge Bret Hart for the WWE Championship at the 1997 Survivor Series, which that didn't end in controversy whatsoever. And you gotta realize, too, at that time, Bret Hart's contract was expiring with WWE, and he was gonna go sign with WCW.
Well, it was also at this time where he kept saying he wouldn't wrestle anywhere in the United States except outside of it.
And also, Bret Hart wanted to drop the championship to anyone else besides Shawn Michaels at the Survivor Series, but that did not happen.
Yeah, and your favorite referee, Earl Hebner, screwed him again.
By ringing the bell when Michaels applied the sharpshooter on Bret Hart. And Bret never tapped out, obviously. Thus, the Montreal screw job.
And this is where we get, I keep getting screwed. You keep screwing me and you do nothing about it.
Jesus, that was beforehand, but I still get your point. That's still a great promo. Your thoughts about this Michael vs. Bret Hart rivalry, despite the screw job fitness, right? Yeah, because some of it was personal and some of it was also on screen. Remember the Sunny Days promo? Jeez. That was a shot fired when Michaels was the one doing it. Of course, Michaels wasn't cheating on his wife at the time because he wasn't married at the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and at the time, Bret was married to Julia Hart.
Yes.
Wasn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, this Bret Hart, I would say it's between good and great. It's just, sometimes personal rivalries make for the best one, but this one got a little bit too personal, and it ended in controversial fashion.
Yeah, no, it got too personal with the Sunny Days fucking promo because that was pushing it a little too far at that point.
Oh, and speaking of sunny days, Tammy Sitch ain't having very many sunny days now, if you know what I mean.
Uh-huh. If she can even see the fucking sun.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
I would say this one is I'll probably put it at the good category. You guys' thoughts on it?
I'd say the end of great.
Frank, your thoughts on the Michaels and Bret Hart rivalry?
I've only seen pieces of it. Despite their heated backstage antics, they more or less were made professional and made good matches.
So
it didn't matter with their rivalry and personal shit. Their fucking matches were great. It's just, my thing is that I just didn't care for that Sunny Days fucking promo because that was kind of pushing the envelope a little too far to my taste.
Going from freaking scripted to reality, right?
Yeah.
And who was saying it was quite ironic.
Yeah, I mean, Shawn Michaels was basically accusing Bret Hart of sleeping with Sunny when at the time he was the one actually doing it.
Yeah.
That's dripping with irony, isn't it?
Behind Chris Candido's back.
Yeah, that's been well documented. Everyone knows that. So I would say either at the ass end of great or at the start of good.
I put it at the ass end of great because, yeah, like I said, the only thing that which made it very cringe for that rival was the Sunny Days thing, and that was literally pushing it where they were going to basically fisticuffs at that point because they were both getting ready to square up.
Yeah, I'll put this one at the ass end of good or great here.
I'm sorry that the shit happened, but that shit was going a little bit too far for my taste. And Dustin, you've seen what I'm like at wrestling events.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And speaking of wrestling events, I need to talk to you a little later about something that came up. But our next rivalry we're going to be talking about will be Triple H versus Cactus Jack.
Ooh, a classic.
Which I'm pretty sure both of you can comment on. Triple H and Cactus Jack's first cross paths when Mick Foley first became Cactus Jack in WWE in '97.
Well, technically they actually encountered each other in WCW when he was portraying a Frenchman.
Yeah, maybe they did briefly, but that's not well remembered as their WWE rivalry.
It's a more obscure match because no one really wants to remember Triple H's
Jean-Paul Levesque.
Whatever the fuck his name was.
Yeah. It was Jean-Paul Levesque in WCW. That was a short-lived gimmick. But yeah, they crossed paths in WWE in '97 when Mankind or Mick Foley morphed into Cactus Jack. Right?
And then they faced each other again in.
And then they would cross paths again in 2000. That's when their most well-known rivalry happened.
The Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, when Mankind decided to morph into Cactus Jack once again for his W title feud against Triple H, which they had a fantastic street fight at the 2000 Royal Rumble, which led to their Hell in a Cell match a month later at No Way Out with Mick Foley's career on the line as well as the WWE Championship, which Triple H won.
I remember the 2000 one, the street fight, because he's all like, "Oh, who are you gonna be? Dude Love and shit." He's like, "No, I'm gonna be someone even darker." And they both his Dude Love persona and himself as Mankind's persona freaking said, "We're introducing a new person. It's Cactus Jack." Yeah. And he comes out as Cactus Jack.
Yeah, those two had a fantastic street fight. Those two even had a most brutal Hell in a Cell match with Mick Foley's career on the line, which Triple H won both encounters, but both of them were bloody and gruesome, which helped make Triple H into the main eventer he ended up becoming. I mean, shit, who else would take a pedigree onto thumbtacks besides Mick Foley?
Terry Funk.
This may be controversial, but I say the ascent of Hall of Fame to great. Anything lower than that, everyone can fuck off. I don't care what everyone says about it. I liked it. It was great.
And not to mention their Hell in a Cell encounter, which ended when the cell broke under Mick Foley's weight and the ring broke on top of it.
Everyone talks about the Hell in a Cell because he also, even today, with all the even back then in 2000 and...
Even back then in 2000.
2002, 2004, when they had their Hell in a Cell, he was also getting ready for the Elimination Chamber match, and they were talking about his Hell in a Cell, where he almost lost his life to the Hell in a Cell match.
Yeah, so this may be a cliche, but I'm putting in the ass in a Hall of Fame. I kind of agree with that. Your thoughts on that, Frank? Does it belong in Hall of Fame or great? In your opinion?
Which one was it?
The Triple H Cactus Jack rivalry.
Cactus Jack.
Oh yeah, Triple H versus Cactus Jack. Put in the fucking bare minimum, top of great, at most somewhere in Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but I'll compromise. I put in the end of Hall of Fame here.
Anything lower than that is blasphemy, and I don't care what people say. You can blast me in the comments if you want. It is staying where it's staying.
Yeah. Now we got the tag team rivalry between Edge and Christian, the Dudleys, and the Hardy Boys. Which their first encounter was technically the first encounter was just between Edge and Christian and the Hardy Boys in that ladder match at No Mercy 99, and then you added the Dudleys in there a year later. And that's when we got the Triangle ladder match at WrestleMania 16. The first TLC match was...
We had the number one contender match on the Raw prior to their legendary TLC match where it was the Dudleys versus the Hardys for the number one contendership for the tag team titles. And then Edge and Christian didn't want to face either of them, so they interfered and cost both teams the title. And I think it was Bischoff? No, Mick Foley, who was the commissioner at the time,
made this
that said, "Oh, we're gonna have it as a triple threat for TLC for tables, ladders, and chairs."
Yeah, they had the Triangle ladder match at WrestleMania 16. They had the first ever TLC match at SummerSlam 2000, and their last encounter against each other was WrestleMania 17 in that TLC 2 match, which all those matches were car crashes and violent, right?
Yes.
And all of them, I mean, I can't describe them. You gotta freaking watch them all again, right?
Yes.
But, throughout this whole rivalry, Edge and Christian, when the three teams got in the ring facing each other in these real matches, Edge and Christian always came out with the win and the tag titles in the end. In all three encounters between the three teams. Your thoughts on this triple threat rivalry?
Well, not necessarily. They didn't come out as victor against all three of them. They had some losses against both the other teams.
Yeah, but when it comes to their pay-per-view brutal encounters, Edge and Christian got the win when all three of them face each other. Yeah, the Dudleys won some. Then the Hardys won some too. But when it comes to all three in these type of matches, Edge and Christian came out on top.
But when it came to the tables, ladders, and chairs match at WrestleMania for the tag team title against all three of them, it was brutal. It was a brutal fucking car crash.
Like, I believe Jim Ross described it as a friggin' tornado ripping through a mobile home park. That's what it looked like at the end.
Well, yeah, also Devon said, yeah, I was afraid of heights at the... they literally said that they all knew I was afraid of height, and Jeff Hardy friggin' leaves me hanging.
Yeah, Jeff Hardy was kicking him on the top, and he even yelled at Jeff, for God's sake, if you love me, quit fucking kicking me. Right?
Yeah, and then he freaking gets speared by Edge from the top.
Yeah, Jeff Hardy did. In the most iconic WrestleMania ladder match spot. I'm sorry, man. My thoughts on this one will be Hall of Fame. Your guys' thoughts on the TLC encounters?
Hall of Fame.
Just put it. There's no... We've already fucking discussed it. You can fucking watch every fucking match that these guys had, and no one is going to say anything less than Hall of Fame.
And plus, it was this rivalry that put TLC matches on the map. Anyway, between all three teams, right?
Yes.
And now we have a classic women's rivalry here, which is Trish Stratus versus Mickie James. The stalker angle. The one they actually got right.
Comment.
The one they actually got right.
Can't comment on this one. Not familiar with it at all.
Just okay. Frank, I'm pretty sure you know about the stalker angle between DDP and Undertaker. Just imagine that, but better.
Which made no sense because he was married to Kimberly Page.
Yeah. This one, freaking Mickie James came in as a freaking crazy fan, and then tried to had a shrine dedicated to Trish Stratus, calling Trish Stratus the greatest wrestler ever. And in storyline, pretty much tried to be with Trish.
She won the Divas search, then got infatuated with Trish Stratus because she was a fan of hers, and then she took that a little too far, and which in which she won a number one contender match against Victoria for the women's title, and she was saying, "Oh, this is a dream come true. It would even be better if I won the title." And Trish is like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah, not to mention later on the feud, Trish and Mickie James would team up on Saturday Night's main event, which resulted in Mickie going full on heel, freaking beating down Trish Stratus after Trish Stratus rejected her. Thus, starting the obsessed stalker angle to a whole new level, and it resulted in Mickie James, quote, kidnapping freaking Ashley when she was injured in a promo during in the ring, and then their match at WrestleMania 22, which saw that infamous hand gesture by Mickie James after grabbing Trish by the nether regions. That had to be cut out, right? Later.
Oh, you mean the squeeze?
Yes. When Mickie James won the championship that night, and then they had a rematch at Backlash, which really ain't at Backlash 06, which really ain't remembered all that often. I think that was the last time.
That part I know about.
Yeah, and then they didn't really cross paths too much after that I know of. They did cross paths again years later at the first Evolution show when they competed against each other in a tag team match, but that's about it. But the rivalry is most known from the 2006 period. Your thoughts on this one? I say probably good or great. not discounting the rivalry, the matches. The matches are fine, that's just how I feel about it, right?
I say a Hall of Fame. The main reason why I say Hall of Fame is because they had great chemistry, they had a great rivalry, and you could never tell. They always left you guessing who would win between them because they both basically had the same moveset because Mickey would adapt all her movesets from Trish Stratus.
Yeah. Like the
such as her bulldog thing where she'd basically do the Stratus fact and her chick and her mitt kick.
Mitt kick, chick
which
kick,
was taken from the chick kick.
It's the same move, just named different, depending on who was using it. You say Hall of Fame, I say great to good. I'll compromise and just put it on the top of great. Then, or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So here we got one of John's favorite rivalries here. About to talk about, and that's DX versus the McMahons. And if you really want to start the origin of where this rivalry started, it was pretty much started during Shawn's feud with Vince McMahon heading into WrestleMania 22. Specifically during that freaking no holds barred match, because if you would notice, right before Shawn jumped off the ladder on the Vince, he did the DX crotch chop, teasing a freaking reunion. And then Triple H would later use it in his match against Cena later that night. Right? And then it just kept slowly building up with Michaels continuing his feud with Vince McMahon, which also gave us that awkward Vince McMahon and God's freaking dang rivalry. I'm dreading having to review that, by the way. And then that ultimately led to Triple H and Shawn Michaels reforming the DX this time with the two members. And they would go on to destroy the McMahons at not only SummerSlam of 06, but also with Big Show destroying freaking the McMahons with the Big Show in that Hell in a Cell match at Unforgiven 06, which saw... What did we see at the end of that Hell in a Cell match, by the way? Because we know you like talking about that, John.
You mean during the Hell in a Cell match?
Yes.
Where they made Mr. McMahon toss Big Show salad?
Yes, I know that's what you wanted to say. That's why I said, yeah, laughing. This is my favorite rivalry. And ultimately, DX not only came out on top, they destroyed the McMahons here.
That's funny because they were literally going to put, they had already made Shawn kiss McMahon's eye. They were going to do Triple H to kiss his eye. And what does Triple H do? He freaking low blows him.
Yes.
And then they both kick Big Show in the crotch. Which made Big Show, after they beat the shit out of Shane McMahon, which, fabulous, by the way.
Yeah.
Fucking, literally had him freaking leaning over the top rope, and then they pulled down his singlet, showing his bare ass.
Yes.
And then after McMahon is begging, and then Mr. McMahon's like, no. And Triple H and Shawn are like, yes. And he's like, no. They're like, yes. No. Yes. Shove.
Okay, and a bunch of other shenanigans too on top of it, like DX impersonating the McMahons and then dumping shit all over the McMahons and the Spirit Squad.
I don't remember much of that feud, but what I do remember has nothing to do with the McMahons. When it came to DX running at that time was the Little People's Court.
Oh, Jesus. That's far off of that, but that's freaking hilarious. That was a hilarious segment too.
Well, also, when the Stephanie child angle, when they were trying to find out who the father was, when we all know who the father was. And at this point, Vince wanted to be very fucking creepy.
Yeah, we don't need to discuss that angle. That could have been. Thank God it didn't.
He wanted to do an incest angle.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, he wanted to do the incest angle where it was revealed that he was the father of Stephanie's kid, which Stephanie said no. And then Shane was
No,
like,
he
"You're right.
wasn't
You're right.
making-
That's screwed up. That's screwed up. How about we reveal to
No,
be Shane McMahon? No." It's like, no, hell no. Thank God we never got that. And then just say that would have been worse.
Even Shane slapped his dad for that when he said when he fucking was when they were going through this in the back and in the boardroom. He fucking literally slapped him. Even Linda slapped. He's like, "You ain't doing this." So he's like, "Why? To give us a rating?" They're like, "That's not the ratings we want."
More like, I'm sorry. This is just me thinking of box here because obviously, thank God we didn't get an angle like that. If we would have gotten, back in the day, if we would have gotten an incest angle, to me, that would have been more cringe than Katie Vick. I am sorry.
Yeah, to me it would have been.
That would have been bad. I'd be like, what kind of shit is this? That would make me not even want to watch it. You know what I'm saying? And I've seen some pretty messed up shit.
But they make him sound like Barry White.
So yeah, anyway, where would you put the freaking DX and McMahon's rivalry?
Hall of Fame.
A comment. I haven't seen it in a long time.
Oh boy. I would put this one probably shot the ass end of Hall of Fame. No pun intended, because there was shit involved in that feud. Like literally.
Yeah,
next,
coming from the roof.
Yeah, next, moving on.
It was holy shit. Thanks to Sean.
Yeah, moving on here, we're going to another iconic feud. I'm sorry if it seems cliche that we keep putting a lot in the Hall of Fame, but we can't help it. Mick Foley versus Edge. Specifically in that hardcore brawl they had, and then later teaming up at the 06 One Night Stand pay-per-view.
Can't comment on that one.
I'd say good because they didn't really have a rivalry per se.
It was just Edge. This rivalry first started.
It was just Edge. It was just Edge basically cutting his teeth to become a more hardcore version of himself, which accumulated into him facing Mick Foley and putting him through a flaming table.
I mean, that match was violent. I mean, that rivalry started when Edge blamed Mick Foley for losing his WWE title rematch to Cena the night after Royal Rumble, or 2 weeks after Royal Rumble, or whatever it was. And then they had their iconic hardcore match because Foley wanted a WrestleMania moment. That match was bloody and violent. Edge took the thumbtacks, looked painful as hell. And of course, everyone remembers the flaming table spot at the end, with Edge picking up the win. And then later on, Edge and Mick Foley declared themselves as co-hardcore champions and had that one night stand fight with them and Lita, taking on Beulah McKillicuddy, Tommy Dreamer, and who were
Beulah?
It was Beulah McKillicuddy, Tommy Dreamer, and who was Tommy Dreamer's partner that night? I keep forgetting. Anyhow,
Forgot.
hold on, let me look this up. Goddamn, I hate it when I draw a blank.
I know we fucking reviewed it.
Yeah, I know we reviewed it.
Hey, Dieter, who was Tommy Dreamer's partner? You still drawing blanks there?
Tommy Dreamer's partner was Terry Funk that night.
That's not surprising at all.
Yeah.
ECW and Terry Funk, that's a good combo right there.
Yep. So yeah.
Especially when you throw Sabu in, you get a classic match.
Yeah, with Edge, Foley, and Lita taking the win at One Night Stand. I would say this one's good. I mean, the hardcore match is the most remembered one, but the rivalry as a whole, really not that freaking like longevity. I'm not saying it's like doesn't have the longevity. I'm just saying it could have been longer if they wanted to drag it out more.
They didn't build it correctly, is what it is.
Yeah. Now, let's talk about our next rivalry, brother. Brother. It was Hulk Hogan, brother, taking on Shawn Michaels, brother. Okay, I need to stop.
Yeah, this started when Shawn called in someone to be his tag team partner. No one knew who it was when he was tagging with Cena. So Cena and Shawn in a triple threat in a six-man tag. They had a partner which was taken out, and they called in a mystery partner which no one knew except for Shawn and Cena.
Yep.
And then that went on to Shawn and Hogan winning the tag team titles, and then Shawn turning on him.
Yeah, Shawn super kicked Hogan, starting off that rivalry. And the reason why I kept saying brother, brother was because of freaking Shawn's parody of Hogan during that Larry King spoof promo. You know, he was taking a piss out of Hogan saying, "Oh yeah, by the time I face Shawn Michaels, I'll be 102 years old, chump SummerSlam, brother. Brother, 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 eh." Right? Yeah, boy.
Great.
I would say it's probably at the ass in a great brother, because the match itself is Shawn Michaels taking the piss out of Hogan, brother. All right?
Hey, everybody, anyone watching this video, I want you to take a drink every time he says brother.
What's that, brother? Brother. 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 There'll be
Knock
three
it off.
sheets.
You're going to kill people like that.
There'll be 3 sheets to the win or die of alcohol poisoning, brother. If they took a shot every time I said brother.
Brother.
But no, seriously, where would you put this? Because I was taking the piss out of the match. It was supposed to be a best of 3, but no, they only had the 1.
Great.
SummerSlam
They
match,
actually
put in
built.
great.
SummerSlam match, put in the great. Yeah, Shawn was just taking the
They
piss over
built the
selling freaking
rivalry.
Hogan's moves, though. Yeah, Shawn was
They
taking.
literally built it from ground zero.
Yeah, and Shawn was taking the piss out of Hogan's offense and selling like an octopus in a dryer. Basically, is what happened.
Yes.
I mean, he turned it from a serious 5-star glass match to a comedy match. Screw it, it's going under great at the ass end, right? Because it was hilarious. It could have been better if Shawn took it seriously, but he made it to comedy gold. Brother. Okay, now we go to the next one. Undertaker versus Kane. From
Hall of Fame.
From their first freaking encounter in 98 with their great backstory all the way to 2010s. Now, before I
dare anyone to prove me wrong on this.
Now, before I put in Hall of Fame, let's discuss this in as briefly as we can, because there's a lot of matches they had.
Their first match was when the pallbearer said Kane is still alive.
Yes. And apparently Kane survived a fire that the Undertaker set when they were kids, thus scarring Kane, which is why he came in wearing the mask.
And then Kane tearing down the Hell in a Cell door to get to Taker.
And cost Taker the match in his debut. In Kane's debut. And
the match everyone wanted to see, which Taker didn't want to do at the time, was Brother v. Brother.
Brother versus brother at freaking WrestleMania 14. And Undertaker kept saying no until Kane attacked Taker during Taker's casket match against Michaels, setting the casket on fire. And then they had their first match at WrestleMania 14, which it took 3 tombstones to beat Kane from Taker, and Kane still got up and attacked Taker at the end.
Yes.
And then their story continued from there, having that Inferno match after Kane dug up Taker and dug up their parents' graves and stole the caskets out of it. The Inferno match, probably the most intense match that they had. And then later on Raw, Kane beat The Undertaker finally in a number 1 contenders match, which led to Kane's WWE title First Blood match with Austin. And then they would have a little mini rivalry in 99, I believe, followed by one in 2000 when Taker was Badass Taker, with Kane freaking getting his mask ripped off, as we know, and fleeing the ring. And then Yeah, and then the rivalry picked up again in 2004. This time, unmasked Kane freaking buried the Undertaker, forcing the Undertaker to morph back into the Dead Man character at WrestleMania 20.
Also, Kane attacking Taker after he won the number one contenders match for
The World Championship.
Ray versus Taker for the World Heavyweight title.
Yeah, and then Kane went on to win the Money in the Bank, win the World Heavyweight Championship from Rey Mysterio, cashing in the same night. And this is 2010 we're talking about. And then Kane then revealed himself to be the Undertaker's attacker, thus reigniting the feud, which saw Kane win 3 straight pay-per-view title defenses straight against Taker. One of them being in a Hell in a Cell match, the other one being in a Buried Alive match. And that's the end of their rivalry. And if we wanted to include their tag team, yeah, we can include their tag team, but I'm counting them facing each other here. I'm sorry. As bad as underwhelming as some of their matches may have been, the backstory, I can't deny this.
I dare anyone to prove me wrong that that's not Hall of Fame. I dare you.
Frank, your thoughts on the Kane Taker rivalry?
Hall of Fame.
There's no doubt about that one. I say, this may be controversial. I think the Taker-Kane rivalry is better than the Rock and Austin's rivalry. I'm sorry. When it comes to
better
storytelling.
than the Rock and fucking Stone Cold.
What?
It started off stronger, if you ask me.
Yes.
Like him ripping the door off the cage. That's probably the most memorable part of it, was him ripping the door off.
So, yeah, anything below Hall of Fame, yeah, no, that's invalid. Right?
That's why I say I dare anyone to prove me wrong.
Yep. So, here we got one from the mid-90s, which you guys may be familiar with or may not be that familiar with, but I am. We got the brothers, Bret Hart versus Owen Hart.
Yes, the Nugget, or as he called himself, the King of Hearts.
The King of Hearts versus the Hitman.
Yes.
Which their rivalry.
This is a rivalry that I said that we should put in because you forgot about the literally the brother v brother match that they had.
Yeah, I mean, their rivalry at first initially got started at the 1993 Survivor Series when Owen Hart was the only one eliminated from his team, which made him a little bit jealous knowing his brother carried the team and he got eliminated from the match. Then later on they rectified their tag team, whatever. And those two had a tag team title match at the 94 Rumble, which Bret Hart friggin' didn't tag in Owen for the longest time, causing the referee to stop the match. And then Owen got ticked off, kicked Bret's leg out from under his leg, turning heel in the process, and kicking off the rivalry proper. Right? And then those two had a fantastic opening contest at WrestleMania 10, which Owen won. Which to me is still a 5-star classic. Best WrestleMania opener. And then Bret Hart would end up winning the WWE Championship later on in the night, which pretty much put Owen as number one contender. And those two would actually have a fantastic cage match for the WWE Championship at the 1994 Royal Rumble, or 1994 SummerSlam, which Owen Hart won. Or not Owen Hart, Bret Hart won. Owen Hart would defeat Bret Hart for the title a few days later at a house show in a lumberjack match, but due to interference, the match was restarted, which Bret Hart won to retain the championship. But that match gave us that freaking dang photo, though, of Owen Hart with the WWE Championship, and all I could think about was like, things that could have been, right? And then they would have some off matches here and there, but that was pretty much the end of their major rivalry. Before they reignited in '97 to form the new foundation, or the New Hart Foundation, as a total heel stable after Bret Hart's heel turn. Your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, after Bret Hart's heel turn and the British Bulldog and Jim the Neidhart.
Yeah. Anyway, your thoughts on the Owen and Bret rivalry as a whole, now that I went briefly through it. Would you
Honestly, it's between great and Hall of Fame for me.
To me, I feel the same way. I don't. Frank already said he can't comment on it. I'm pretty sure he's seen at least one of their matches before.
I've seen one of the matches. I don't know what the show was, pay-per-view or not. I don't know.
But for me, it was a classic, iconic feud. But I don't want to keep putting everything in Hall of Fame. I'm just going to compromise, put on top of great here, because it was a great rivalry, no doubt. I just felt like the payoff could have been better at, like, say, the '94 Survivor Series. They could have had.
I remember one of their matches in the UK was Owen Hart was a European Championship champion versus Bret Hart for the title, and the Nugget won because of interference.
Yeah, I mean,
from the nation.
If I could go back in time, I think this rivalry would have been better definitively ended at the '94 Survivor Series. You could have had Owen officially beat Bret, cheating to win the title, just to have him drop it about a month or two later at the Rumble to Diesel. Considering Diesel was the next guy that Vince wanted champion anyway. And that way we wouldn't have had a 2-day title reign from Bob Backlund. And at least we would have had at least one Owen Hart reign as champion, if that was the case. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And to me, that's probably what would have brought this rivalry to a Hall of Fame, but that's just with the power of hindsight. I guess Vince didn't think about it at that time in the moment. You know what I mean? Now we go to one that you suggested, John. That's the triple threat between the man, Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, and Ronda Rousey.
Becky 2 belts?
And yeah, you could also include all the matches that freaking Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch had at this point, right? As well, along with the whole one-off match between Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair, which that ended in Ronda Rousey receiving a bunch of boos from the crowd at the 2018 Survivor Series, despite being the face going into it, in a match that was originally supposed to be Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey, which we never got. All right? And then eventually, and the match was set after Becky Lynch won the 2019 Women's Rumble, was set to challenge Ronda Rousey for the Raw Women's Championship, only to freaking lose her opportunity to Charlotte Flair, and Charlotte would be added to the match, and then Becky Lynch would be added right back to the match. And then, since Charlotte Flair was already in the match, she won the SmackDown Women's title, which made this whole convoluted mess a freaking triple threat match when people just wanted to see Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey instead.
Yeah.
And they had a great build-up, including a backstage attack on each other, which resulted in all of them getting arrested and cops' cars being freaking crashed. Am I right?
Yeah.
And then the match was okay. I mean, it was the main event of a long 72-hour WrestleMania. I know it really literally wasn't 72 hours, but it was more like 7. All total, which Becky Lynch won after a friggin' botched cover. And became Becky 2 belts, but at that point no one cared. Everyone was just happy that it was over and that they got to go home. Right? Now that's pretty much the whole rivalry between all three of them. I ain't gonna branch out any separate rivalries afterwards. Your thoughts on that? I would just say it's good. I'm not gonna go any further than that, honestly. For my opinion on it.
I say good to great.
You would say good to great. Okay, good, great. I'll just put it at the start of good. I mean, it could have been better, honestly. As in, the match could have been better, and if I was going to put in great, it'd be at the ass end of great. We already got a lot of rivalries up in Hall of Fame and great as it is. Okay. This one we might all be able to talk about. I'm not totally sure here. We got Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar.
Okay.
with them first crossing paths in 2002 for the WWE Championship. Back when Taker was Big Evil Taker and Brock was just a rookie, was the rookie champion. And they first clashed at the 2002 Unforgiven event after a good build, which that match ended in a no contest due to referee stoppage, which told everyone, hey, this rivalry is going to continue, which it did. And it resulted in Brock Lesnar.
A double DQ, which they didn't want the double DQ. That's why they did it as a referee stoppage.
Yeah, and then afterwards, Brock Lesnar would break The Undertaker's hand. The match was then announced. The rematch was announced as Hell in a Cell. And those two put on a bloody-ass Hell in a Cell match. And the first Hell in a Cell match to not go outside the cell whatsoever. And the most disturbing image from that, I believe, was when Brock Lesnar was bashing The Undertaker's cast hand with a chair against the cell wall. Right?
Yeah.
And then The Undertaker bleeding from ear to ear, like, that looked nasty, right?
Yeah.
With blood just gashing out every time his heartbeat, you can see it squirting out of his forehead, right?
Yeah.
And Brock Lesnar retained that night, and then after showing respect, those two would reunite the rivalry a year later in that biker chain match between the two at the 2003 No Mercy event, which Brock Lesnar won due to Mr. McMahon's interference, which that set up the rivalry between McMahon and Taker, but we're not talking about that. Then it happens. Years later, in 2014, those two would fight each other once again at WrestleMania 30, where Brock ended the streak. Whether you agree with that or not, that's what happened. And then those two would fight again against each other in 2015 at SummerSlam, which Taker won. And they would fight in Hell in a Cell once again at Hell in a Cell 2015, which Brock won. Even though their 2015 Hell in a Cell encounter was brutal at best, I still feel like their 2002 encounter was better. Your thoughts on this rivalry as a whole? Because this rivalry did see the death of the streak.
I'd say great or Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I'd probably say the same thing. I would say probably at the start of great. Did Brock Lesnar need the streak though? No, but did Vince book Brock to end the streak anyway? According to the documentaries, yes. Was it their best encounter? No. Right? Now we go to another one. Triple H versus Shawn Michaels. Okay, the Triple H Shawn Michaels feud, can we just agree that it's legendary too in its own right?
Yeah.
Because Shawn Michaels returned from his back injury 2002, pretty much convinced Triple H to sign with Raw, considering Raw and SmackDown were two different brands at this point, trying to sign talent over. And then the next night on Raw, they teased in 2002, the next night on Raw, they teased a DX reunion only for Triple H to turn heel and turn on Michaels, thus setting up their unsanctioned match at SummerSlam, which Michaels won, before being put back on the shelf again by Triple H. Right?
When he wanted him to be his manager.
Yeah. And then Michaels would come back, take the World Championship from Triple H in the first ever Elimination Chamber match at Survivor Series. And then those two would have a fantastic 3 Stages of Hell match for the World title at Armageddon, which Triple H won. And then they would briefly put their freaking rivalry on hold until the following year, where those two fought on Raw to a no contest for the World title when they double pinned each other, which led to a last man standing match at the 2004 Rumble, which once again ended in a freaking draw when neither man could stand up to answer the ref's 10 count. And then
also, when they faced each other in the 2000 5, or I think it was for Taboo Tuesday, or the
Oh yeah,
The fans
Taboo Tuesday.
pick.
It was Taboo Tuesday before they fought
Yes.
each other. But yeah, from there they did fight each other at WrestleMania 20 in that triple threat match, with both lost to Benoit. And then they had their 40-plus minute Hell in a Cell match at Bad Blood, which Triple H won. And their last encounter on pay-per-view that I remember was the Taboo Tuesday match for the world title, which fans voted Michaels in to win. But despite that, Triple H retained the title that night.
Yeah, because Edge, after he walked out on Benoit in the tag team title against La Resistance.
Yep. So yeah, and I believe they'd have like one other match against each other in 2000, at the end of 2005 at the Tribute to the Troops show, which Michaels won, I believe, but I believe to date that was their last contest against each other. Your thoughts on this one? Where does it go? I would say either great or Hall of Fame, but I don't want to sound cliche because we have a lot of them up there already.
I say great. Because they had a lot of ups and downs.
Yeah. I would say it's great, probably above the Cena and Taker matches. Right.
Yes.
Oh, God. And then we got your favorite rivalry. We have Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg. And out of the 3 matches that they had on pay-per-view, your favorite one was WrestleMania 20 when they took the piss out of everything and didn't do shit.
No.
Hell, if I remember correctly, you gave that match 5 out of 5.
No, I did not.
Yeah, the WrestleMania 20 encounter was a case of the build was more interesting than the damn match. Let's call a spade here, right? Because both men were leaving the company, both men were heavily booed, no one cared, and neither did they. And that was a match that Austin was a referee, and he got more cheers than the freaking competitors did.
Yes.
And of course, Goldberg won that encounter, but no one really cared in the long run because both were leaving the company.
Yes.
Now, they would rectify that years later, about 12 and 13 years later, because at that point, Brock Lesnar returned in 2012, Goldberg was returned in 2016, and those two had what everyone thought was a one-off match to rectify their WrestleMania 20 disaster, which Goldberg won in about a minute and a half. And then the following year at WrestleMania, for the Universal title that Goldberg had, Brock Lesnar would go on to get his win back, defeating freaking Goldberg in the best 5 to 10 minute car crash of a match that you can get that didn't involve weapons. Just 2 big men freaking just going at each other like freaking 2 cars on the highway, basically is what that was.
Big man slapping man meat.
Yeah, big men slapping man meat is what it was. It was the irresistible force meeting the immovable object. That's what that was.
Yes.
So, where would you place that? I mean, if it wasn't for their rematches in 2016 and 17, I would have easily said trash. Based on the one match alone, right? But, I would probably say this rivalry is good. It had a really, really bad rough start, but the other 2 matches freaking improved it. That they would have years later.
Yeah.
So where would you place it?
Good.
Frank, where would you place this? Probably. He was like, I can't comment. I'll just place under good.
Let me see.
It's Brock versus Goldberg. Talking about their 2004 clash, their 2016 clash, which was way better, even though it was short, and their 2017 clash.
Let's see. If we're talking only their earlier matches, I'd put it alongside Steiner down there. But the later one, when he returned, I'd put it in good.
Okay.
The only thing that saved it was when they both returned and they faced each other for the world title which should have fucking happened at WrestleMania 20, but they both didn't give a flying fuck.
So
Because at this point, Lesnar was going to the NFL.
yeah, 2004, Lesnar was going to the NFL. Goldberg was retiring for a Hollywood career.
Goldberg was going to Hollywood, also recovering from injury.
Yeah. So yeah, their first encounter was shit, but their last two encounters saved it. Now, if they only had the one encounter, I would have agreed with Frank saying it belongs in garbage or trash.
If you didn't say their fucking other encounter, I would have literally said trash because their first fucking encounter was garbage. It was beyond fucking garbage.
Yes. Oh yeah, and now we got next rivalry. We got it's more modernized, but you and I have seen this rivalry from start to finish. John, I'm talking about Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton here. Now those two would have a little feud going on in 2016, which they did fight each other, I believe at freaking what was it? No Mercy, I believe, of 2016. I could be wrong on that one. I think Wyatt got the win on that one anyway. Orton did, and then of course then Orton freaking got in Wyatt's head, freaking started teaming up with Wyatt, won the tag team titles for a brief period with Wyatt. And then that rivalry also seen Bray Wyatt win the WWE Championship at Elimination Chamber of 2017. And then Randy Orton turned on Bray Wyatt, burning the Wyatt compound down.
Sister Abigail's. Yes.
The Sister Abigail house down. Which led to Randy Orton, who won the 2017 Royal Rumble, to challenge Bray Wyatt for the championship, and that's when we got the whole, the maggots and freaking like insects all over the ring canvas from the projector. Which Orton won that one, and won the WWE Championship. And then those two would go on to have the House of Horrors match, which that one, let's face it, that one was crap. I wasn't a fan of that one at all. And that's nothing against Randy Orton and the late great Bray Wyatt. They had better matches. That was just somebody's poor attempt at a cinematic style match that didn't pan out, in my opinion. And of course, that wasn't even for the championship, so despite Bray Wyatt winning the match, he did not get the title back, you know what I mean? And then they would renew their rivalry in 2020? Which saw them fight each other in the Firefly Inferno match, this time Bray Wyatt as the Fiend character, which Randy Orton burned the Fiend's body. In that great visual that they can only get away with at that point, in the Thunderdome,
Yes.
which led to Bray Wyatt coming back, or the Fiend coming back, facing Orton once again at WrestleMania 37, which Orton won once again due to Alexa Bliss distracting the Fiend with that orange ooze coming down from her face. And that would be their final encounter. We would never get another Orton versus Bray Wyatt feud, unfortunately, and Bray Wyatt never really got a definitive win in the rivalry. With your thoughts on this one?
Great.
You would put under great. I would probably put on top of good, but I would put the ass in a great too, as a compromise, only because their best match was the Inferno match, in my opinion.
Well, I put it on great because they couldn't finish it because of his passing, but they also had great matches.
Their Firefly Inferno match, to me, being the best one of the lot. Right. So that's going at the ass end of great. Okay, now we got one that I think we can all relate to because we all probably seen a couple of their matches, and I'm talking about Undertaker versus Triple H.
Ooh.
With their first big pay-per-view encounter being at WrestleMania 17, when The Undertaker was the American Badass character. which Taker himself even said, yeah, that sledgehammer was a real sledgehammer. It legitimately busted his head wide open at the end.
Yes.
And not to mention, it was also during his rivalry with Triple H that Taker afterwards, WrestleMania 17, because I'm going to lump this into one, Undertaker would feud with Triple H and Stone Cold Steve Austin with his brother Kane, which led to that one segment in the ambulance.
Oh, you mean the two-man power trip where after breaking Kane's arm yet again, freaking Stone Cold goes on the color commentary for the Triple H and Hardy match.
Yeah.
And freaking Undertaker comes out of nowhere from the freaking crowd and starts beating the shit out of Stone Cold.
Which led to Steve Austin being hauled off in a stretcher. Next thing you know,
which ended Stone Cold being thrown through fucking plate glass window. And this is the kicker. This is the real funny shit. And this is what broke Triple H, Stone Cold, Stephanie, Taker, and Mr. McMahon, which you couldn't see, which they were snickering off screen. Taker is literally in the front of the freaking, in the driver's seat of the ambulance, and they're telling him to go, and then he just turns around and says, "Hello, boys!"
And that made them all scrambling like chuckling laugh off screen. And Austin, who was trapped there, he was trying his best, but I bet he was thinking, "You son of a bitch." Right?
No, he literally said, yeah, he was fucking said, even though he was in pain from the glass in his eye, he was fucking getting his ass beat. He was fucking trying to hold it in because no one expected him to literally be at the front of the damn ambulance and then literally say the line, "Hello, boys!"
Son of a bitch, right? How could you take that moment serious? You really can't. Right?
Yes.
But yeah, they had their first encounter in 2001. Undertaker beat Triple H at WrestleMania, becoming 9-0, obviously. But then they would pick up their feud again in 2002 at King of the Ring, which Undertaker would beat Triple H again to retain the Undisputed Championship. Yeah, but their most well-known rivalry didn't really start until 2011, when they fought each other in a no-holds-barred match, in a match that was supposed to be Sting versus Taker, but that didn't happen. And it was the best match at WrestleMania 27, and they would bring it back at WrestleMania 28 in a Hell in a Cell match with Shawn Michaels as a special guest referee in a 30-minute classic, which Taker won again.
Well, they threw the whole everything they had, even the fucking kitchen sink, literally.
And then we go to 2018, where they fought each other in Australia at Super Showdown. In that one-on-one encounter, Undertaker had Kane in his corner, Triple H had Michaels in his corner, and they fought in a hard back-and-forth match, which Triple H finally got that win back. And that was it. They never fought again following that, despite the post-match beatdown.
No. And then, in Saudi Arabia, they had, for the first and last time, your favorite match, Bald Michaels and Triple H, Bald DX versus the Brothers of Destruction.
I don't know what you're talking about. I have no memory of that match.
You know it happened, you bitch.
No, according to records, that match never happened. Shawn Michaels' last match was at WrestleMania 26.
Nope.
A whole 8 years before the timeline that you're talking about.
Nope.
As far as I'm concerned, that match doesn't even exist. And go fuck yourself. But anyway, where would you put this Triple H Undertaker rivalry?
I'd say great.
Yeah, I was thinking Hall of Fame, but yeah, the shit that you mentioned kind of had to ruin it for me. Put on top of great. Hey, where would you put this, Frank? The Triple H Taker rivalry.
aside from that one bit of him going, "Hello, boys," I don't remember much of it.
Oh, Jesus.
Again, I haven't been watching WWE lately. Not because I don't want to.
Well, you know some of these old school rivalries we're talking about anyway. But hey,
Yeah.
next rivalry, we can't talk about one without talking about the other. Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels is the next rivalry we're talking about here.
Hall of Fame.
You're like Hall of Fame, no doubt about it. Don't even need to go into detail next.
The last match. The last match they had before Saudi Arabia alone at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
Well, there are two WrestleMania encounters. Give it Hall of Fame and fucking definition of itself.
well, they first crossed paths in '97 when Michaels accidentally cost Taker the championship to Bret Hart. Their first encounter was at In Your House, Ground Zero, I believe, which that went to a no contest. And then they fought in the first ever Hell in a Cell match that had the debut of Kane, where Taker had the match won after he beat the hell out of Michaels, only for Kane to debut, cost Taker the match, having Michaels win the #1 contendership at that time. And then their paths would cross years later in 2009 when they had the Heaven versus Hell angle in the best match of WrestleMania, in my opinion, against each other at WrestleMania 25.
And then again, when Shawn Michaels cost him the Elimination Chamber match after he came out from underneath the grate and super kicked him.
Yep, which made this a streak versus career match for WrestleMania 26, which Undertaker defeated Michaels to end Michaels' career, and he never wrestled again.
He wrestled again.
He never, ever wrestled again.
Yes, he did.
Saudi Arabia, what? I don't remember anything.
Huh?
Sorry, I got to put that in Hall of Fame above the Taker and Kane rivalry. So it's on top of Hall of Fame now. Yeah, and then next up here we have freaking an actual rivalry from the freaking invasion angle, which I thought I would never cover, but thanks to Franco here reminding me about how good their matches were, we have Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Kurt Angle. The Olympic gold medalist versus the Texas Rattlesnake.
Oh, God. Is it bad that I forgot this one because of the fucking cringe where Stone Cold, where they made him a whiny little bitch?
Yeah, and this was after Steve Austin turned heel again for a second time, joining the Alliance, and then got into this rivalry with Kurt Angle now. Now, Frank, we're talking about Angle versus Austin. Do you want to put your thoughts in on it since you suggested this one?
Kurt Angle versus Austin. This one, despite how it ended with Angle actually being a heel the whole time, it was pretty good.
Their match at the 2001 SummerSlam, even though it ended in a DQ, was actually the best. Was actually a great match to see.
My favorite moment was when Angle sprayed them with the milk truck.
Yeah, the following night on Raw after the 2001 SummerSlam, which saw the rivalry go into the 2001 Unforgiven, which Kurt Angle actually beat Austin by submission, no doubt, to win the WWE Championship off of Austin. Of course, then they would freaking have a rematch on Raw a few weeks later with Austin winning the title back. And of course, the rivalry ended like that with Angle turning heel and joining the Alliance briefly, only to cost Team Alliance the win at Survivor Series.
Yes.
Turning face or heel turning face in the process, only for one night when he turned out to be a heel the next night on Raw after the Alliance after the Invasion Angle ended with Austin turning face once again, and that was their last encounter. Your thoughts on the Austin Angle match rivalry?
The only thing I didn't like of that rivalry was when they made fucking Austin a little bitch for a little while.
I mean, their matches were solid. I mean, their SummerSlam match, even though I don't like DQ finishes, I actually enjoyed that one. That one I remember when we were reviewed SummerSlam about one, I gave that one 5 stars. A rarity for me to give a DQ finish a 5-star rating, by the way.
Like I said, the only reason why I forgot that was because fucking one, they made him a little bitch where they gave him, oh, I want the freaking hugging angle.
Yep. I would freaking put this rivalry between good and great probably at the top of good. It just kind of felt like the ending of the rivalry just kind of felt flat.
Yeah.
And pretty much adding in the factor what you said. Right?
Yeah.
So I'll probably put it at the top of good. Their matches were good, just the storytelling could have been better and the ending could have been better to it, in my opinion. Instead of convoluted the way they did, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Next up, we got John Cena versus AJ Styles. Now they reignited their feud very recently as part of John Cena's retirement tour, but their matches in 2016 and 2017 are also legendary, and their match in 2025, last year, was a nod to all their past rivalries all wrapped into one. And that was actually a great match, and all their matches were great matches. Except for one that ended in interference, but we don't talk about that one. But their match at SummerSlam 2016, Royal Rumble 2017, and their last match in their last encounter, I believe at freaking Crown Jewel, I believe, was actually a good match too.
Yeah.
And throughout some of this ride, we actually seen AJ Styles beat up John Cena. So anyway, you've seen all the matches, John. Your thoughts on this one?
It was great because AJ came in as a heel where he was saying, oh, if I was here before, there would not be a Cena. Bullshit, there would not have been a Cena.
Yeah. So because of their matches alone and how great they were, I would put this probably in front of Brock Taker under great.
Yeah.
Now we got Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Triple H, and he did it for The Rock. When Triple H hired Rikishi to run over Austin, supposedly. Which, yeah.
This one because he also freaking tricked Triple H when they created the 2-man power trip.
Yeah, I mean, their rivalry started in '99. Triple H beat Austin at No Mercy thanks to interference. In 1999, the October event, due to The Rock's accidental interference, causing Austin the match. Then they had to put on hold the whole run over Austin angle. A year later, Rikishi revealed himself that he did it for The Rock, but it was Triple H behind the mastermind behind the actions. The attack, those two fought. Austin and Triple H fought each other at Survivor Series 2000, which ended in a no contest when Triple H basically attempted to murder Triple H by using that forklift and dumping Triple H, who was in a car down on solid ground off the forklift.
Also, Stone Cold got back at Triple H for the freaking hit and run when he basically said that when he used Triple H's phone and called Undertaker and said that his wife was in the hospital.
Yep. Yeah, and then
which was dirty pool. That was very dirty pool at that point.
Yeah, and their rivalry against each other, I guess you could say, culminated in a fantastic 3 Stages of Hell match, which at No Way Out 2001, which Triple H won barely, but Austin still looks strong in defeat, despite the fact.
Yeah.
And of course, it would be after WrestleMania 17 that they would team up as a 2-man power trip, and they never had a proper one-on-one match again after that. Your thoughts on this rivalry, like them against each other as a whole?
It was great.
Yeah, I would say great, somewhere in great, probably between Michaels and Triple H and Taker Cena.
Yeah.
Oh God. Oh, God, I just seen what the next one is. It's your favorite rivalry. Triple H versus Kane. Now, Triple H and Kane's first cross paths in 99. They fought each other at WrestleMania 15. And then a couple years later, they would fight each other as part of the Brothers of Destruction versus the two-man Power Trip tag team match, which resulted in a chain match between Kane and Triple H at Judgment Day of 2001, in which Kane defeated Triple H to win the Intercontinental Championship. And then they would fight each other a couple years later after that on Raw for the World Heavyweight title in a match for the World Heavyweight Championship, where if Kane won, he would be world champion. If Kane lost, he would be forced to unmask, which Triple H beat Kane on Raw to retain the championship, thus Kane unmasked. But what did I forget in between the 2001 and the 2003 encounter?
No.
The most infamous, messed up freaking storyline to date, which is what this rivalry is really known for. 2 words, Katie Vick.
No.
Which is your favorite angle. We know this.
No.
The most cringe story of them all. Hey Frank, what's your thoughts on the Katie Vick angle with Triple H and Kane?
Luckily, I've barely watched it, so I can't really say much.
Well, you are a lucky one.
Very lucky ones that did not watch the fucking shit and then had to rewatch it to fucking catch up on the damn review.
You're still salty when I made his review No Mercy Vote 2, aren't you? But for that, I mean, they had great rivalries and great matches before that, and one after that. But where would you place it? Because I know where I'm placing it based on the one storyline alone. What? You say trash, I say... Are you even going to make any comment about where it's at right now?
What?
Look where I put it.
No. It's in the Hall of Fame. You put that shit in the fucking trash. Look at that. Scott Steiner.
That is garbage.
Look at that. Scott Steiner's been... Wait. Yeah, Scott Steiner's been dethroned. Now that's the worst one.
Yeah. Yeah, Triple H and Kane had the worst rivalry only because they had other great storylines, but the one that overpowers them all is that damn Katie Vick angle. I'm sorry, all right?
Your favorite motherfucking angle.
No, that's your favorite angle.
That was fucking garbage. That whole fucking storyline renders the rivalry trash.
Oh, come on. You told me freaking the Katie Vick angle was your favorite storyline, with the Booker T, Sharmell, and Kurt Angle freaking storyline being your second favorite.
No. Those are both of yours.
No.
Yes.
Anyway, can we move on from something that's not garbage? Randy Orton versus freaking John Cena. And those two had had many matches against each other, specifically in 2009, with both of them getting half the wins apiece over the WWE Championship. And this was 2009 evil conniving Randy Orton against Super Cena. Which, yes, I admit some of their freaking matches back then got repetitive, knowing it's the same thing, same match, same freaking type of match every damn time. But they did have a quit match. They did have an Iron Man match, a Hell in a Cell match, and other different type of matches at that point. And they would briefly then reunite the rivalry in 2014, I believe, in another Hell in a Cell match, which Cena won. And then their last encounter I can remember to date was their match they had last year at Backlash as part of John Cena's farewell tour when Cena was champion.
Yeah.
Which Cena won to retain. Your thoughts on this one? Because without Randy Orton, there probably would not be a John Cena, and without John Cena, there wouldn't be a Randy Orton.
I'd say a Hall of Fame because those two literally beat the living fuck out of each other.
Yeah, I'd probably put it in Hall of Fame above the friggin' DX and McMahon rivalry. And probably above the Cactus Jack and Triple H rivalry. Oh, boy. Now we go into the 1997 for this one, and that's Steve Austin versus Owen Hart. Yeah, unfortunately, this was a rivalry that broke Austin's neck during a botched pile driver spot, in which he would make a return. He would cost Farouk the Intercontinental Championship Tournament Finals to Owen Hart, and he would return at the 1997 Survivor Series to defeat Owen Hart in less than 5 minutes to win the Intercontinental Championship back, and in the rivalry as a whole. Your thoughts on this one, both of you, since both of you are familiar with the Owen Hart-Steve Austin rivalry, I believe.
I'd say good because they didn't. They had a great start, but they didn't kick off the rivalry until after he broke his neck and then was bragging about it and made the shirt Owen 316, I broke your neck.
Yeah, Frank, what would you say about the Owen Hart-Austin rivalry? Where would you place this?
Wait, what was it?
We're talking about Owen Hart versus Steve Austin, the broken neck angle in the Survivor Series 97 match between the two.
I'd put that in great.
Okay. Oh boy, I would say he would say into great. I would say top of freaking good. I'll compromise. I'll just put it at the top of good. Oh yeah, and we're getting to the nitty gritty here. We just got a few more left. We got the rivalry where Brock Lesnar almost broke his own damn neck. And yes, I'm talking about his rivalry with Kurt Angle from 2003.
Oh, when he over-rotated in the shooting star press that he never used ever again.
Yeah, their first encounter against each other was WrestleMania 19 after Brock won the Royal Rumble and went on to challenge Angle for the title. But then again, that was their second encounter. Their first encounter was on SmackDown a few weeks prior when Angle cheated Lesnar out of the championship due to Eric Angle's involvement. Then they had their proper match at WrestleMania, which that was a great match, but once again, it saw friggin' Lesnar botch the shooting star press, almost landing on his neck and breaking it. Lesnar was able to finish the match after being concussed from it. He's lucky that's the worst he got out of that. To win the title, only for Angle to come back after neck surgery a few months later, defeat Lesnar and the Big Show in a triple threat match at Vengeance to win the WWE Championship. And then those two had another classic against each other at SummerSlam 03, this time with Angle as a face, Lesnar as a heel. Which, yeah, this time there was no shooting star press attempts by Lesnar in the SummerSlam match. Angle was the first person to make Lesnar tap out to retain the title. And then they went on to have that, I believe, 60-minute Iron Man match on SmackDown about a month later, which Brock Lesnar won 3-2. I believe, and won the championship back into this, and that was their last encounter to date that I know of in WWE. Your thoughts on this one? I would say it's a great rivalry. I don't know about Hall of Fame, but it's a great rivalry, in my opinion. What are you thinking?
I'd say great.
Great rivalry's a great rivalry. Yeah, I would probably put it above the Owen and Bret Hart match rivalry. Okay, now we have a match that I think all of us can talk about since we've seen all the archive footage. We know the matches, and that's Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Bret Hart. Now this was a banger of a feud. I mean, Bret Hart returned in late '96 after taking a hiatus off, faced Steve Austin at the 1996 Survivor Series in a great hard-hitting, underrated gym, which Bret Hart won. But their most famous encounter came at WrestleMania 13 when they faced each other in that submission match, with Austin down, out, locked in the sharpshooter, bloody as hell, and refusing to submit. And the match only ended when he passed out. And then from there, Bret Austin would spend the rest of '97 as a face, feuding with a heel faction of the Hart Foundation, which eventually would just lead into his rivalry with Owen Hart that we talked about earlier. But yeah, your thoughts on this Bret Hart Steve Austin rivalry? That's the only match so far at time of recording that's in the Hall of Fame, by the way. I would say
Honestly, I'd have to say Hall of Fame.
Hey Frank, your thoughts on the Austin Bret Hart rivalry?
Hall of Fame.
You would agree? Okay, just where in the Hall of Fame would I put this? I'd probably put it behind Austin and Vince, and above Punk and Cena. All right, in Hall of Fame. Yeah, now we got Undertaker versus Edge from 2008. Yeah, and if you want to get technical, their paths first crossed in 2007 when Edge cost Taker against Batista in that Hell in a Cell match using a camera.
Yes.
And then those two would face each other in a triple threat match with Batista at Armageddon of '07, which Edge won. Then Taker would go on to win a #1 contenders match, face Edge at WrestleMania 24, which Taker would win that match and the World Championship. And I think that match also gave us the Charles Robinson meme where he just sprinted all the way down the long-ass freaking rampway during the match, right?
Yeah.
And of course, those two would have a couple more pay-per-view matches, which Taker won, and then Edge would win the title back in a TLC match after the title was vacated due to the Hell's Gate submission hold being banned. And then, of course, the rivalry would culminate after Edge lost the world title to Punk, and those two would face each other in a Hell in a Cell match at the 2008 SummerSlam, which resulted in Taker not only winning, but sending Edge straight to hell, as we know.
Do you remember why they accumulated at
Because
Hell in a
Vicky
Cell?
Guerrero reinstated The Undertaker after freaking it was revealed that Edge cheated on Vicky.
Yes. With Alicia Fox at the time.
Yes. So, yeah, this rivalry, iconic. I don't know if it's Hall of Fame worthy, but I think it's like somewhere in the great category. Myself. I think that myself, you know that? What is your thoughts on it?
Don't remember it, so I can't comment.
Say great to Hall of Fame.
Yeah, shit. Let me compromise here. I'll just put it. I don't think it's better than the Triple H Taker rivalry, but I'll put it above Styles and Cena. Under great. Now we got Hulk Hogan versus the Ultimate Warrior, and this one is a double-edged sword. Because their first encounter in 1990 at WrestleMania 6, that was actually a good encounter. It was title for title, Intercontinental Champion versus WWE Champion, with Hogan actually surprisingly putting the Ultimate Warrior over in the match, meaning Ultimate Warrior won the WWE Championship. However, on the flip side of things, if we're talking overall here, they did have that rivalry in WCW when Hogan was a heel with NWO in '98. And it saw Hogan being delusional, seeing the Ultimate Warrior in the mirror, and nobody else could, supposedly. And then the match at Halloween Havoc '98 sucked ass. To the
Yeah, it
point
was
that
a
would-
drugged up Ultimate Warrior.
And then you had Hogan, who couldn't even use freaking flash paper correctly, almost burnt his mustache off, cheated to win. It was just a convoluted fuck up. That's what that was. And Ultimate Warrior's even gone on record saying he had his best match of his career against Hogan and also the worst match of his career against Hogan.
Yes.
So that's why I call the Ultimate Warrior Hulk Hogan feud a double-edged sword here. Yeah, your thoughts. Your thoughts on this one?
I'd have to say good, but at the ass end of good, because
One match was good, the other match was trash.
yeah,
I mean, one match, the first encounter, Hall of Fame worthy. Their second encounter, shit. Right? There's no way. There's no more decent way I can say it. Right?
yes.
Now, if they only had the one encounter in WCW, it definitely would have been in trash. You know what I'm saying? And now we have Hogan versus Mr. McMahon. Who really created Hulkamania? Was it Hulk Hogan or was it Vince McMahon? Yeah, and that rivalry came about after McMahon screwed Hogan out of a victory against The Rock. We'll discuss more of that later. And then freaking challenged, and then claimed that he created Hulkamania, and Hogan said, "You did not create Hulkamania. The fans created Hulkamania." And those two had a street fight at WrestleMania 19, which, let's face it, was better than it had any right to be, right?
Even though Vince won by cheating.
No, actually, Hogan won that one. Hogan won that one despite Roddy Piper's freaking interference against Hogan. And then what did McMahon do in rebuttal? Oh, I fired Hulk Hogan. You're fired. Get off of SmackDown. You're done. And what did they do? They brought Hogan back as Mr. America and introduced the world to Zach Gowen throughout that rivalry, which that rivalry ended inconclusively due to contract disputes and Hogan just leaving, not re-signing again. So it kind of just fizzled out into nothingness, with freaking their only good encounter being WrestleMania 19. Your thoughts on that one?
I'd say Hall of Fame.
I don't know. I'd probably say Hall of Fame. Behind the Hogan and Andre match. Oh, actually, no. Behind the Edge and Cena match. No, fuck it. At the ass load of Hall of Fame. Jeez. Ugh. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Now we got Jericho versus Michaels. Obviously, their first encounter was WrestleMania 19. In a great, fantastic 5-star match against each other. But the rivalry really got picked up in 2008 when Jericho turned heel by freaking turning on Michaels, challenging Michaels in matches, freaking blinding Michaels' eye by smashing Michaels' face into the Jeritron 5000. And then
Almost costing him his career.
Yeah, and then Jericho had to freaking turn up the heat at the 2008 SummerSlam when he accidentally freaking decked Michaels' wife in the lip. Right? During a Michaels promo.
That was where Michaels was deciding to either to listen to the doctors or not to, and after he dodged after Jericho tried to hit his wife, he pulled her away from him, but it clipped her lip, and he fucking still got knocked down, but he was pissed.
Yep. And then those two would have an unsanctioned match at the 2008 Unforgiven event, which Michaels won. Then Jericho would weasel his way into the World Championship Scramble match, replacing CM Punk's spot that night. Same night at Unforgiven, won the world title, And then those two would have a fantastic ladder match at the 2008 No Mercy event, which Jericho won to retain the title, despite getting his teeth knocked out.
Yes.
And that was pretty much the end of the feud. But if you really want to count it, the following year in 2009, Jericho with Big Show as his tag partner did feud with Michaels and Triple H for the unified tag belts, which accumulated in a TLC match for the unified tag team championships at DX1. If you want to count that as part of the rivalry. Anyway, your thoughts on this one? Where does the Jericho-Michaels feud go?
I'd say great.
Yep.
But it could also just go in good as well, because they didn't really have any more interactions after that until he tried to fuck him over when
Yeah, I would say probably at the top of good here. Even though that may tick some people off, it's my list. When you make your list like this, you can freaking put that at Hall of Fame if you wanna. Right.
Yeah.
Up next, we got Undertaker versus Mankind. The rivalry spanning all the way from 1996 through 1998. Enough said. Next. Okay, we got to talk about it. Why does Mankind and the Undertaker's rivalry deserve Hall of Fame?
Well,
Mankind was one of the few people who could consistently get a win over Undertaker at the time.
Also their freaking match, which almost killed the fucker.
Yes, but we got to go before that.
He lost a chunk of his ear.
His teeth gone.
His teeth were in his nose. And if he did not freaking over-rotate, he would have been dead.
But yeah, before we get to that one, they did have matches before that in 1996. Mick Foley debuted, as a matter of fact, as Mankind, and his first major rivalry was against The Undertaker, who he beat at the King of the Ring 96 in that one-on-one match. And then Mankind and Taker's matches would go to SummerSlam of 96 in the Boiler Room Brawl, which Mankind won after Paul Bearer betrayed The Undertaker.
Yep.
And then they had their scrap in the first ever Buried Alive match at In Your House Buried Alive in October of 96. Which, yes, saw The Undertaker technically win the match, but then he was buried by Mankind and a bunch of other heels before sticking his hand out of the grave. And then Mankind and Taker would fight again at Survivor Series of 96, which Taker won. And then they would put their freaking rivalry against each other kind of on a brief hold until 98. When in the most infamous Hell in a Cell match, Taker almost killed Mick Foley. Which saw Foley get thrown off the top of the cell, thrown through the cell, had that chair smack him in the face, making him lose teeth. That and freaking Mankind was then freaking slammed into thumbtacks twice before Taker won with a tombstone. In the most infamous or famous, depending on how you look at it, Hell in a Cell match ever. That's why it's in Hall of Fame. Anything less would be a crime.
Yes.
Just on that one match alone.
The fucker would not quit.
No, he wouldn't. So, yeah.
And then after that, you thought that he thought that he'd go, oh, now I'm going to take the night off. What does the fucker do? He goes to the freaking main event.
And interferes in the first blood title match, too, after having the daylights beaten out of him.
Yes.
Ugh. So, Frank, this is obvious. Where would you put The Undertaker versus Mankind's rivalry?
Hall of Fame. As you said, it's obvious.
Yes.
Again, I dare any fucker in the comments, prove us wrong.
Yep. Next we got John Cena versus Batista. And this rivalry started in 2008, I believe, after they came up pretty much at the same time. Were the two biggest stars. It was face versus face. And after a great 25 to 30 minute battle, Batista won after he caught Cena in midair with a Batista bomb and nailed it on Cena not once but twice to win the match, thus injuring Cena's back, as I recall. And then that would be it. And for another 2 years before Batista at this point was a heel, friggin' cashed in his I do favor for Vince McMahon in the bank briefcase, and immediately got a title match against John Cena, who just won the title in an Elimination Chamber match, pretty much similar to what Edge did with the Money in the Bank contract. Beat Cena for the title, and then at WrestleMania 26, Cena got his win back in another great match between the two. And then they would fight each other again in an I Quit match, in a last man standing match, and an I Quit match. And shortly after the I Quit match, Batista left the company, ending his first stint with the company, with WWE, to go to Hollywood.
I still remember when that happened, sitting in a wheelchair. Ah!
He's like,
slams the microphone down.
Yep. He's like, quit.
Yeah, that was an over the edge, over the limit.
Yep.
When Cena literally freaking FU'd him into the freaking old-timey car.
Yep. So, yeah, combined with their history and the fact that they were on equal terms, where would you put the Cena-Batista rivalry?
I haven't seen it in a while, so...
I think I would probably put it like in the middle of great somewhere, honestly.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Great.
Yeah, I'd probably put it under great, like behind Owen and Brett's feud. Now we got a classic rivalry here that started all the way back in 2000, and yes, I am talking about Trish Stratus versus Lita. Now, you can't have a freaking rivalries list without talking about Trish Stratus and Lita.
Yeah, you can't have a rivalry without talking about the hoe.
God damn it.
Yeah.
But their paths first crossed in 2000 when they were just, coming up from just being managers into wrestlers. But
of course, Lita being the manager of the Hardys and Trish Stratus being the manager of TNA.
Yes. Test and Albert, but their matches really got cooking in late 2001, early 2002 against each other, including facing each other in a triple threat at WrestleMania 18, but Lita got injured, so their rivalry got put on hold. Their paths wouldn't really cross again until, I believe, 2004, when they were the first women to main event WrestleMania. Also, or not WrestleMania, freaking Raw, Monday Night Raw. Damn, what the hell was I thinking? I'm still thinking about that triple threat from Mania 35 is what I'm thinking about.
Women main eventing WrestleMania. Not when Vince is in charge. No, he had to go first.
Actually, Vince was in charge when Rousey Lynch and Flair main evented WrestleMania 35.
Oh, okay. That's a
Vince
shocker.
was actually the pioneer voting for that to go through.
Yeah.
Probably because of Wanda Rousey.
Yeah, that and
Remove her, probably not. Wouldn't have happened.
yeah, so I believe Lita defeated Trish Stratus to win the women's championship in the first ever all-women's Raw main event. And then
the Trish would win the title back at
New Year's Revolution.
New Year's Revolution 2005.
Which they were supposed to have a rematch at WrestleMania 21 to blow off the feud, their big WrestleMania match, but that never happened due to Lita getting injured. Getting her knee injured during the New Year's Revolution encounter.
Yes.
So their rivalry would just be on hold until 2006, and by that point, Lita was obviously a heel, because of their real-life affair with Edge at that point, in relationship with Edge, I should say, and then Trish Stratus was leaving the company, retiring, I should say, so those two would face off one more time on pay-per-view at the 2006 Unforgiven event, which, in her last match as a full-time competitor, Trish Stratus beat Lita to win the women's championship.
Yes.
thus ending their rivalry. Yes, they would come back years later and team up at the first ever Evolution pay-per-view, but that wasn't against each other. That was in a tag team match with them teaming with each other. So I don't really count that as part of the rivalry. So yeah, your thoughts on this one? I would say it's probably in the middle of a good. I mean, it could have been better if injuries didn't plague friggin' this rivalry a whole bunch. Because you had Lita's neck injury and her knee injury, which pushed his rivalry back. What would you say?
I'd say good.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been better, but if it wasn't for injuries, it probably could have been on great to Hall of Fame territory. But, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
At least we had some great matches between them, even though we could have had more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And why did... Okay, we're down to, like, the last 5 here. And we're down to the last 5 for this video. So, we go on to Triple H versus Chris Jericho next.
Let's be fair. Let's be honest. Jericho was nothing but the third wheel. It was mainly a conflict between Stephanie and Triple H. He was just there. Jericho, he was just the third wheel.
Yeah, for their undisputed title match at WrestleMania 18. Whew. Yeah, and that doesn't really spell WrestleMania main event. Of course, then again, we would see the same thing happen years later between John Cena versus The Miz, which was really John Cena versus The Rock. Right?
Yeah.
Which I just realized I did not put on this list. That's why there's probably going to be a part 2 at some point. Right? But Jericho versus Triple H, their first match, they did have a match at the 2000 Fully Loaded event before the Undisputed title match 2 years later. In a last man standing match with Triple H won. I know that's a forgotten gem. The WrestleMania 18 one, though most well known, it could have been better. The build could have been better, and the match could have been better. Because the crowd was dead silent for the Triple H Jericho main event, but you know, you can't really blame them because they just got done witnessing a great spectacular that happened at that same event that we'll talk about later on. And of course, Triple H and Jericho's real great match really happened 2 months later following Mania at the 2002 Judgment Day in that Hell in a Cell match. Which, after a brutal back and forth affair, which saw referee Tim White legit get injured, Triple H got the win when he pinned Jericho on top of the cell after a pedigree. On top of the cell.
Well, that ended Tim White's the whole career because he got fucked up.
Yeah. And Triple H ultimately won the rivalry after he pedigreed Jericho on top of the Hell in a Cell structure to win that match in the rivalry. Your thoughts on that? Your thoughts on this whole rivalry as a whole? I would say it was probably between good and great. Probably good because the WrestleMania 18 encounter was just really Triple H versus Stephanie McMahon with Chris Jericho as the third wheel. Honestly, right? As Frank was saying. It's probably why I put this one under good and not so much great. Though their Hell in a Cell did kind of save it from ass end of good territory.
Yeah.
What do you think?
That's good.
I put it at most good, not even great. Because again, it was mostly Stephanie and Triple H affair.
Yep.
And Jericho was just a third wheel.
Anyway, for this next one, we're going to the tag team scene here. John, you should be familiar with this as much as I am. We got the Usos versus the New Day, which is the modern day version of, say, like, the Hardys versus Edge and Christian. By comparison, a lot of people like to compare the two teams.
You mean Team 3D versus
the Hardys or whatever.
The Hardys or Edge and Christian or whatever.
So we got the Usos versus the New Day. Now, these two had many matches back and forth. on pay-per-view with the New Day scoring half the wins, the Usos scoring the other half the wins. They even fought each other in a tag team Hell in a Cell match for the tag team titles at one point, which I believe the Usos won. And you know, this rivalry was actually pretty good. I believe they still got a rivalry going as of the current day.
Yes.
Now that the Usos are the tag champions once again. So, yeah, your thoughts on this somewhat ongoing rivalry, because this spans over years. I would just say it's like on the good territory right now, maybe teetering on great. What would
I'd
you
say that's the end of great,
Okay.
but you can also put it in the middle of good as well because it is escalating.
Yeah. And you know,
So there is no definite answer just yet.
yeah, because you know these two teams are still going at it today. So I would probably put it like, at good, like right there, right now. Oh boy. So next we got John Cena versus Bray Wyatt. Now these two first clashed in 2014 at the WrestleMania 30, which,
Well, technically, if we're doing this, we have to do this correctly. They first encountered each other when he faced them when he was part of the Nexus, Husky Harris. And then he faced him again in the new Nexus
Yeah.
with CM Punk. And then he faced him a few times as his latest incarnation was Bray Wyatt.
which those two fought at WrestleMania 30, with Cena getting the victory, and at Extreme Rules 2013 with Wyatt getting, or Extreme Rules 2014 with Wyatt getting the win in that cage match, which it was during the rivalry in 2014 when Bray Wyatt cut his most infamous promo on John Cena, saying deep down Cena's not a good guy, deep down John Cena is beast, which it would turns out he would be right years later, but you all know what I'm alluding to when I say that, right?
Yes.
Of course, then again, after 2014, their paths really went separate. Yes, Bray Wyatt and John Cena would cross paths temporarily in 2017 during the Elimination Chamber match for the WWE Championship, which Bray Wyatt won, winning his first
Frank
of
said
3
he
world
was
titles.
taking a nature break.
Yep. Yeah, and then... Yeah, so... they would face each other again in 2020. In that Firefly Funhouse match. So, yeah.
I'd say Hall of Fame.
Which Bray Wyatt won the Firefly Funhouse match, technically. And that was our last
Yes.
encounter. Your thoughts on that one? You would say Hall of Fame?
Okay.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, I'd probably put this in Hall of Fame. Above the Cena and Punk match.
It gave us the where they turned him into the NWO while technically turning him heel.
Yep.
So
next up on this rivalries list, we got Kurt Angle versus Shawn Michaels. The Heartbreak Kid versus the Olympic gold medals. Now, this was a great back and forth match from WrestleMania 21.
Can't say anything because I don't remember it.
Man, you really need to watch some of this old stuff.
Yeah, you know, it'd be nice if Netflix would put the old Raws on there, because I'm not going to watch the pay-per-views without the Raws, because I won't have any context.
Hey.
Sure, the match will look nice, but I want to know the backstory of the match.
Man,
and I
this-
don't want to read. I want to see.
Man, this tier list video has turned into 80% us discussing matches and putting it up in tiers, 20% Frank bitching about Netflix. And how Raw's not on Netflix.
Am I wrong about it though?
No, but still.
Yes.
But anyway, this rivalry between
They need to
Shawn...
pull. Netflix needs to pull whatever cork is stuck up its ass and release all the Raws onto Netflix.
But anyway, Shawn Michaels and Kurt Angle here, they first crossed paths, and they crossed paths 2005 at the Royal Rumble, where Shawn eliminated Michaels eliminated Shawn, Michaels eliminated Angle, only for Angle to come back in, eliminate Michaels, and break his ankle at ringside. Then the interpromotional match was announced between Michaels and Angle at WrestleMania 21, which after a great back and forth matchup, which saw Michaels do his best to friggin' try to out-wrestle Angle. Angle eventually got the win with applying not one angle, applying the ankle lock on both of Shawn Michaels' legs multiple times, and Shawn reluctantly tapped out, but Angle won that one. They would have a rematch. They would have a rematch a couple months later at the Vengeance 05 pay-per-view, which Michaels won the WrestleMania 21 rematch, and then I believe those two would go on to have an Iron Man match at Raw Homecoming, which I believe Michaels also won. I don't remember. But either way, that was the end of their feud, and I thought it was a great feud, personally speaking. So what? So where would I put this? I'd probably place it under great here.
Ass end of great because it wasn't that great and it wasn't that good.
But it wasn't trash either by any means.
No.
So yeah, I'd probably put it at the ass into great. And now we're down to one more. One more, we can power through this. And that one more, we can already guess it. It's The Rock versus Hollywood Hogan. Now, I know a lot of people remember their WrestleMania 18 encounter, which saw fans boo The Rock despite being the face and cheer Hogan despite being the heel.
You know, this match, the WrestleMania 18 match, this reminds me of Bret Hart versus Stone Cold, where Stone Cold was the heel, Bret Hart was the babyface, but it ended up shifting, and they ended up cheering and booing the other guy later in the match.
Yeah. And this match was a freaking classic. I mean, this match was a classic back and forth that could have gone either way. And of course, this rivalry got started when the NWO first came to WWE. And then The Rock got ran down in an ambulance due to Hogan. And then they had their match at WrestleMania 18, which after pretty much the crowd decided who they're going to boo, who they're going to cheer, Rock ended up picking up the win after a classic match. Hogan then abandoned the NWO, turned face in the process, went back to the red and yellow Hogan that everyone knew and loved at the time. And then he would team up for The Rock for a little while, and then The Rock would go to Hollywood, film more movies. But what people often forget is that those two actually did have a rematch against each other less than a year later at the 2003 No Way Out event.
Yeah,
It was Hollywood
Rock
Rock.
too.
When
At
it was-
the first one, it was Hogan it was The Rock that turned heel.
Yeah, this one, the second encounter, Rock was a heel. He was Hollywood Rock taking on Hulk Hogan. And they tried to resemble a great match, but, you know, it really didn't turn out to be a great match. It turned out to be an okay match. And at the end, Mr. McMahon interfered. In a crooked referee spot happened where the referee freaking, what was it? Sylvain Grenier was a referee at the time. Handed The Rock the steel chair. Friggin' The Rock used it, nailed Hogan in the face with it, nailed the Rock bottom, and got the 3 count, and it was a screw job finish.
Yep.
Which is why no one...
Well, also one rivalry that we forgot was Taker versus McMahon.
Yeah, we can do that in a later friggin' rivalry tier list or something like that. Because we're probably going to do another one anyway at some point. But yeah, The Rock
This
versus
match-
Hogan. Most people just want to remember the WrestleMania 18 match, and they don't remember the rest, and they don't really want to remember the No Way Out encounter.
At this match, I would put it just behind Bret Hart versus Stone Cold in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Your thoughts on this one, John?
I would actually put it above Bret Hart, and here's my reason.
I mean,
Is
what
because
match-
this actually accumulated at WrestleMania, yes, but they kept feuding even when Hogan was out on injury. They kept feuding because the freaking match was so great. Everyone wanted to see another one. Rock didn't want to do it. Mr. McMahon didn't want to do it. Then he forced his hand for the No Way Out.
Mm-hmm. So it's
Which McMahon freaking put, which controversial, no one really liked Silvio Grande or whatever the fuck his name was. I don't give a shit.
Sylvain Grenier, your boy.
No.
He was a La Resistance member too after that.
Yes, I know. He was shit. And he was shit then and shit now. I don't give a flying fuck. But the thing is that it kept going. What it built was a picture.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. For me personally, I mean, the match is iconic, but is it better than the Austin Bret Hart match? Those two had a pair of decent, great matches. Except the Hogan and Rock rivalry, that's only a one-match show. Yes, they had a rematch, but no one really wants to remember that because of how it ended, despite before the ending it was actually decent. Not as good as the original one, obviously, their first encounter, but I'm just saying. Right?
We have a different opinion here, but I still stand by my statement that it should be before, but you guys can have it after. That's what these fucking shit is for.
I mean, yeah, I can see it being
Everyone
placed
has
there,
their own fucking opinion. No one has to agree with everyone.
but I can kind of see
As
it
you
being
see in
there.
our other tier list, Dustin.
What are you talking about, buddy?
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
What the hell? I have no idea. We done so many tier lists. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Sheamus, 18 seconds.
Garbage.
Hall of Fame.
Garbage.
Hall of Fame.
We are not debating this.
Yes, we are.
It's like, Frank, Sheamus squashing Daniel Bryan in 18 seconds at WrestleMania. Is that Hall of Fame or garbage?
That's good.
Fuck! I'm at a disadvantage. I'm at 2-1. I'm at a 2-1 disadvantage.
Fucking proven, Dustin.
I'm at a 2-1.
It's only good because I found it funny. Aside from that, it's trash.
But still, I'm at a 2-1 disadvantage.
My point was still proven.
Yeah, I put The Rock and Hogan behind Bret and Austin. I mean, either way, you can flip it either way, honestly, but it doesn't matter. Either way, it's
Like I
still
said,
in Hall of Fame.
this is what these tier lists are for. Not everyone has to be on the same page. Half the time, I don't think some of these should be where they're, but it's everyone's different opinion that states their position.
Yeah, just like I don't have to agree with you when you try to tell me that Steiner versus Triple H was actually good when we all know it's trash.
It was good.
It was trash. No.
Dog season. Rabbit season.
Fine. Fine. If Steiner and Triple H belongs in Hall of Fame, so does Kane and Triple H's Katie Vick angle. And you're like, no. Then there's your answer. Anyway.
Dude, if I said that one in the Hall of Fame, like, what fucking timeline are we living in?
I'd be like, if that was the case, I'd be like, Riptidz, I know the expression is New Year, New Me, but you lost your damn mind if you think freaking JD Vick goes in the Hall of Fame. And I mean more than you do now. Like, all hell freezing over, deadly levels, lost your mind. Don't ever go that far. So anyway, would you guys agree with this list?
Uh-huh.
For the most part. Yep. Anyway, this is our list. This is just our opinion. You can have your own list. Maybe you want to make your own rivalries list. And
if you don't like our list, make your own channel.
I mean, you can make your own rivalry list, and or you can go in the comments and tell us what we didn't put in the Hall of Fame that should be in the Hall of Fame. It's your choice. Everyone's opinion is different.
I dare all y'all to freaking say that my choices were wrong. I mean, I dare you.
And yeah, I know I left like a good chunk of rivalries out, but if I tried to go for 100 rivalries, we'd be sitting here all damn night. And I'm pretty sure you don't want to watch a 5-hour tier list either.
There is good rivalries, and then there is shit.
Yeah.
Like, let's say, David Flair versus Buff Bagwell.
More like David Flair versus anybody.
David Flair versus Eric Bischoff. Loser loses their freaking hair.
That was the worst. That was one of the worst matches in WCW history.
He couldn't even get the freaking cheating shot right. He didn't really hit him with the freaking sack of nickels.
Like the only match worse in WCW history, other than Bischoff and David Flair, was Hogan and Nash's finger poke of doom crap.
Yes.
But anyway, I know this.
Bischoff versus Eugene.
Oh God. Anyway, I know this ain't this isn't a definitive list. That's just our opinion, our list. So, hey, if you think we're wrong, if you want to post your own opinion, what would you put in the Hall of Fame? That's not in the Hall of Fame from this list. Is there any rivalries we will admit left out on? I know I named one. I forgot about The Rock and John Cena. That probably would have been Hall of Fame worthy. But I didn't think about that when I was putting together this long-ass list.
Taker versus McMahon.
Yeah, I didn't think about that one either. I mean, we could do a part 2 to this for rivalries we didn't discuss. Hell,
when Taker left in 99 because Mr. McMahon tried to screw him over. And then he comes back in 2000 when Linda McMahon hires him for and his famous promo. Oh, you haven't talked to your old lady in a while, have you?
Yeah, so
I'm coming back. You know what that means for you? Me, a lot of zeros. Me kicking your ass.
Yeah, so yeah, this isn't the definitive list. That's just our list, our opinions about where each of these rivalries go. What would you put in the Hall of Fame? Leave a comment. And that being said, we will talk to y'all later. Peace.
Deuces.
Brother.